They buried the biggest names in the business one after the other.
Listen, you know I don't like to use that word buried, but let me tell you something. Whoever booked those shows, they buried
They did it to us.
They
did it.
They
got their revenge for nearly a year of us downing on the Wyatt Six. They got their revenge.
Oh, sure. They had receipts, brother. They had receipts. Welcome to the Lariat Lounge. This is almost smart takes, hard hits, and real talk. I'm your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens. Skeener, I have to start the show with some slightly unfortunate news.
Here we go.
So, WrestleMania, there will be no Everson in Milwaukee.
Oh.
There will be no Everson in Milwaukee. Here's the reason why. It's a disappointment to me. I know it's a disappointment to you, and it may be a disappointment to some fans, whether they cared or not. Don't know. But here's the reason why this is not happening. Okay? One, and I mean this with all sincerity, the current airport situation that is happening in the country is freaking nutso. So I've been clocking wait times at some of these bigger airports at between 7 to 8 hours just to get through TSA. On top of the fact that with layover times being what they are, with TSA not currently being funded. I saw your camera do a little wonky thing right there on with Discord. Yeah. We're playing with borrowed time, so we're just gonna hope upon hope, prayer upon prayer, and keep it going. I think your computer's gonna hold out. But the long and short of it is, I feel really bad putting myself in a space where the expectation is that people are going to be overwhelmed with doing their job and doing it without pay in order for me to travel to Milwaukee to hang out with my friend during WrestleMania. Now, it sucks because I really wanted to go. It sucks because I cannot get a refund on my tickets. I don't get that money back. But ladies and gentlemen, you have to have some type of conviction. You have to stand for something. If you don't stand for something, I don't know what you would ever stand for. It does not feel right to me to put others in a position where I am contributing in some way to their dismay. And simply because our politicians cannot seem to get their heads out of their corporate donors' asses to at least set aside the time to pay American citizens for the job that they expect them to do and give them no compensation for it. I cannot abide by that. And so it does indeed suck that I will not be in person with Skeener for WrestleMania. The good news is we will still be doing this podcast. We will still be doing the live stream. We will still be eating pizza and hanging out with you guys and doing all the things. But if there's one thing that I would love to impress upon this podcast, if somehow the day ever came where I was not here and Skeener was hosting this thing with someone else or hosting it solo, that I always approach this podcast and I approach my co-host and I approach the audience with a level of honesty, with a level of respect, and with a level of reverence that is befitting of you fine women and men who contribute, who watch, who listen, to my co-host who dedicates his time, and to all of the people all across this country who love wrestling, who love to listen to this podcast. I have to be the person who I am. And that is a person who lives by morals, who lives by conviction, and it just does not feel right. And I would impress upon all of you that if something does not feel right to you, do not do it. If it ain't right, it ain't right. And so, it sucks, but at the very same time, we are going to have fun. We're going to continue to do the podcast. We're going to continue to show up for you guys each and every single week. But I had to let you guys know that ahead of time because I wanted to set realistic expectations for what was going to be happening and what you could be getting excited for in the next couple of weeks. But with all of that, Skeener, I know this sucks. Crappy news to start the podcast.
Yeah. So, it sucks, but I appreciate your stance and I admire your convictions. So it is what it is. We will get together at some point. Maybe SummerSlam. Maybe I come over there for Maybe I come over there for SummerSlam. Who knows? We'll work it out. We'll do something. originally, when before you told me, I thought it was going to be I thought you were working the gimmick. I thought you were gonna say Everson's not gonna be there,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
but
yeah.
whoever this masked man is will be there.
Ah,
But
nah, I hear you. I hear you. Neither will be arriving at Chicago and then waiting 3+ hours because who knows how long it would take to actually
yeah,
get through the airport, right? Just to go 90 miles from Chicago to Milwaukee.
hmm
But I appreciate your sentiment, brother. It warms my heart to know that people can appreciate me for who it is that I am. But I genuinely cannot show up as any other person than myself or who I want to be. And so this is me. This is who I am. This is what you get. It's just my honest take, my honest stance, and in solidarity with the men and women of this country who are serving this country with their time and not getting paid.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now having to deal with ICE in the airport. Sorry, I cannot abide. I cannot abide.
What airline were you on?
United.
Okay, I you should be able to cancel it, and you won't get your money back, but you'll get flight credit.
So
Because I've had to do this.
So I hope that what you're saying is correct. However, from what it is that I was told when I spoke to United, because I actually got someone on the phone,
Yeah.
that's how I had to get it canceled because I bought my ticket through Priceline.
Oh,
And
okay.
because I bought my
Okay.
ticket through Priceline, there was some clause that was in there that was no refund, no exchange, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying, or anything like
Yeah.
that. But
Well,
I bought
yeah.
insurance, right? I spent like
Okay.
$22 additionally on insurance.
Yeah.
However, there is always fine print. And the fine print in the insurance states that you can get your money back in the event that you have purchased a ticket that is non-refundable or non-exchangeable, something like that. If you had to cancel your flight for these reasons, you're
Yeah.
sick or you're injured, and you have to provide documentation, doctor's notes, all of these things, right? Just to place your claim. And then who knows if they'll accept your claim or not, right? But that's why the insurance only costs like $22 because I think that it's a crapshoot whether or not you
Because
actually get your
they
money back
rarely pay it out.
because
Yes.
they probably rarely pay it out. So that being said, you know, Skeeter and I are going to figure this thing out. Hopefully the government can figure out how to pay people and then they can get back to their political, waltz show, slam dance, whatever it is that they're doing and get our people paid. And then we can hook this thing up for SummerSlam. But in the meantime, you and I are doing this damn thing. So let's get this party started. Skeeter, please let everyone here know where they can tune in to this wonderful ranked 127 podcast in the United States for pro wrestling podcasts, according to Apple. Let them know.
The Lariat Lounge. We're coming at you once a week, every week. Find us on YouTube. Go search the Lariat Lounge. That's where you'll find us. That's where you'll find the video podcast. You'll find the audio there as well, all our old episodes. You'll find additional content there, our old live streams. That's where all our PLE live streams will come at you, including WrestleMania, which we are approaching rapidly. That's where it'll be. You'll find us playing some 2K26
Oh,
like we did
yeah.
this past weekend. That's up there. We'll live stream that when we do that. But if you still want to listen to the audio podcast, that's still available. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all your favorite platforms. That's where you'll find us once a week. We're over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. Give us a follow so you know when new episodes are up, when live streams are going up. The links will always be there. DMs are always open. And last but not least, you can always feel free to send us an email at thelariatlounge@gmail.com and join our good buddy Gage, who is very lonely in that inbox,
He is
but
trapped in
has
the inbox, folks.
with great content and great emails. So join Gage there, please.
Please help the man out. There is no escape. Now, just look, we started this podcast today with honesty. So I had to follow up with more honesty. You can't get out. Okay. That's why Gage is still there. But you can exist simultaneously in these mirror dimensions, right? Gage has just got part of his soul missing. So just donate some of your soul to help Gage out so he's not lonely anymore. But we really do appreciate it. And listen, go get yourself some merch for WrestleMania. Will it reach you by WrestleMania? Who knows? But you can get your
I think
merch.
so. I think my mom got hers in a week. So
Nice. Nice. Thanks, Mama
and
Skeens.
and and let me give you a review here.
Oh, we got reviews.
Yeah,
Nice.
I purchased both a short sleeve and a long sleeve. They are actually very nice quality shirts. So there you go.
Hey, nice. Hey, we
There you go.
appreciate you all for supporting that merch. And listen, all of the proceeds from the merch, literally, I mean literally, go right back into the podcast. Okay. I set up an account with my bank
Ooh.
specifically for the podcast. Okay. So all of the things that I pay for the podcast are paid for with the card that is associated with this account. So
Oh,
the merch account, all of the proceeds go directly into that pot. And so anything, guys, that you purchase merch wise, it literally directly helps the podcast. So we appreciate it. You guys are now literally helping keep the lights on here in this place. So genuinely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, depths of my soul. I do appreciate it. We put a lot of work into this podcast, so we appreciate you guys' support in all ways. But hey, enough with the long-winded fluff. Let's get to the stuff. So, Skeener, let's start with Gage and his special section, the AAA. I haven't come up with a name
yes.
there yet, guys. I haven't. Sorry, I haven't come up with a name word yet. I'm gonna throw out some names here. If you guys are listening, let me know in the emails or hit us up on Instagram and let us know what you think. So AAA corner, we can go with the AAA Red Room because that's usually a nice spot in the lounge. I like AAA Red Room, sounds cool. But you guys pick AAA Lounge, not AAA Lounge, AAA Corner, AAA Minute, AAA Red Room, or you can suggest your own thing. I have no stake in what it's actually called. So, in fact, you guys name it. You guys name it. I got through some suggestions out there. If Skeener's got some suggestions, he can throw those up. But if you guys have suggestions,
We'll let the
please.
fans do it. I'll open it up on Instagram.
I am totally down with that. So you guys name it. For right now, it's just going to be AAA. So we're going to cover some AAA real quick. We had week 2 of the Rey de Reyes premium live event. So to cover this very quickly, we had a match that honestly, in my opinion, seemed a bit inconsequential, but it was Rey Fenix and Mystery Iguana and Lola Vice in a mixed tag match against Le Hydra Money Machine. I don't see how, unless Le Hydra had a woman that was wrestling with them, which I don't really remember if they did, but I'm sorry, Le Hydra and Money Machine. That makes way more sense now. And yes, Lola Vice, Mystery Iguana, and Rey Fenix obviously took the W there. Big shout out to Lola Vice. She is really finding herself in AAA. I mean, she was always doing well in NXT, but I see her almost bi-weekly on AAA now. And she is really taken off there. So shout out to her. And listen, I don't even look at AAA, honestly, as a feeder into the main roster. I look at AAA like AAA, like it is its own promotion. So I think if you're getting over in AAA, right, and that seems to be where your audience is at, congratulations. You made it to the big time. And, you know, you're doing really well there because it's a totally different audience. It's not like a subsection of the audience like NXT is with the main roster. It is its own audience with its own touring shows and own PLEs. And so if you're getting over there, big shout out to you because like Mr. El Grande Americano, he is a freaking star down there. But we'll get to him at the end of the card. We had some real shenanigans happening there. But next we had, what is that? Pagano and Psycho Clown taking on the War Raiders.
I did see a graphic that the War Raiders were on the card there.
Yes, sir. They were challenging for the AAA Tag Team Championships. And the Clowns, Pagano and Psycho Clown, take the victory over the War Raiders. That was a really good match, but we had a little bit of tension toward the end of this match between Pagano and Psycho Clown. I think Psycho Clown might have hit Pagano by mistake, and I think there's been a little bit of tension going on with that crowd because somebody, a mystery assailant, has been assaulting Pagano and Psycho Clown's crew. So week after week, if you've been watching AAA programming, you've seen each member of that crew get put in the back of an ambulance and taken to a local medical facility. And we have no idea who is doing the assaulting. So I think there's a lot of tension right now between Pagano and Psycho Clown. And I think that accidental shot and the tension that came after that was probably a result of that. But we got to tune in this week to follow up and see if they have anything to say about what happens there. And then we get to the crowning of the Rey de Reyes tournament winner, which was El Grande Americano. So he was being presented with the sword of Rey de Reyes, and they had many former Rey de Reyes title holders come out to present him with this sword. And El Grande Americano comes out to a roaring ovation by the AAA crowd. And he gives his speech. He's very appreciative to Mexico for accepting him as one of their own, and that he's really embraced the culture. And he is very proud to be the current Rey de Reyes winner. And just as he's going to accept the sword, here comes original El Grande Americano. And he assaults
Does Kaiser, does he do these promos in Spanish? Does he speak Spanish?
Absolutely, 100%. Never speaks English.
Okay.
And so yeah, he's ready to accept. Here comes OG El Grande, and he assaults him, beats him down, steals the sword, makes off with it to the announcer's table, holds it up above his head, and then escapes with it. So who is actually the champion? Because they did run the graphic at the end of the show for the Rey de Reyes winner, which is El Grande Americano, which they both are. So who's to say who's got that championship or not? Because there's been some shenanigans as far as how and who was able to qualify for this match in the first place. But we'll see how that plays out this week on AAA. But I think we have another week of Rey de Reyes. I think it's like 4 weeks of this event, but I have to check and make sure because AAA is new to me. And so we will figure it out together. But that is your AAA minute, moment, corner, red room, whatever you want to call it, guys. You help us name it, and I will call it whatever you want. I'm leaning towards minute. It works well, but it's not actually a minute. But we'll move on. So, Skeener, SmackDown, brother, we are really firing up for WrestleMania, and things are really coming together.
But I thought this was one of the better SmackDowns in a while, at least front to back in terms of me watching, where it didn't feel like it had that dragging part anywhere.
Agreed. I agree. Well, start us off, man. Like, what is the big thing in SmackDown for you this week? Because everything on this card, in my opinion, was top notch. I know where I'm going to start. I know exactly where I'm going to start because I'll say this really quickly and then we'll get right back to. There's something on this show. We talked about it on Saturday when we were playing WWE 2K26, which you guys should definitely check out the live stream. The audio ain't the best. I need to fix that. Okay? I need to fix it. You don't have to yell at me. I totally get it. The game audio was drowning us out. But there's something that I stated on the live stream. I think I called to the freaking T, to the letter of what was going to happen, and it happened. And I think it's going to be the best thing that could happen for these individuals involved. But we will get to that.
Yeah, probably.
But Skeener, big thing for you. What's up?
I mean, like I said, I liked the whole show. I can't lie that my favorite moment was Randy Orton calling Matt Cardona a mark-ass stooge and an indie nerd. that warmed my heart. Don't you have some action figures to go play with?
Randy is like, he's hitting right now.
He is.
He is hitting on all cylinders right now. I am so happy to see this Randy back. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is really doing some top tier work. And we didn't see any Cody this week.
His first, well, it's already happened. I haven't watched it. His first appearance was today on Pat McAfee's show. Where he will address a heinous attack from Randy Orton.
Yeah, well, listen, when you check that out, actually, I might have to check it out too. I was gonna wait till Friday because I'm sure he's gonna be on SmackDown
Yeah,
to address this.
well, yeah, they haven't said it yet, but I would assume so.
Yeah, listen, RKO is really on his game right now.
Mhm.
I mean, this Randy, I stated on Saturday, it really feels like you're dealing with two different people. It really feels like you're dealing with two different people. And I heard an idea from Simon Miller, which I will repeat here because I think it's a great idea. So Randy keeps talking to somebody on the phone, right?
Mhm.
It's been
Shane
at least,
McMahon, as Dave Meltzer told us.
well, of course. Thanks for spoiling that, Skeener. I was going to say it's Shane, but no, he had a great idea. Simon Miller did. What if Randy's not talking to anyone? What if Randy is literally listening to the voices in his head? Now, I don't know if I would go so cartoonish.
Yeah, that was my thought. For Randy, I don't know if I would do
You know what
that.
I mean? As to say that, but I do like the way that Randy is playing this right now because we are getting this feeling that, like, yeah, Randy's hearing the voices. Randy's hearing the voices in his head that are telling him to do a bunch of wild shit. And I'm all the way here for it. Now, was it this week or was it last week when Randy was sitting in the chair in the ring?
This
Talk.
week.
Okay.
That was after, I believe, after he came in, apologized to Matt Cardona, who, again, I will repeat, he called a Mark-ass stooge and an indie nerd and beat him up backstage, which just warmed my heart, brings a smile to my face talking about it now. Then he went to the ring at the end of the show to apologize to Matt because his good friend Jelly Roll told him
Great speech, by
that,
the way.
yeah, not the Randy I know. He's dealing with some stuff. Go out there and make it right.
Yeah.
So he did go. He went out to the ring. He begged Cardona to come out. He said, "Look, action figures are cool. I play video games.
Sure do.
It's
Elden
okay."
Ring, brother.
And then and then yeah, then Matt Cardona got the beat down again. But yeah, then after he beat down Cardona, I believe Randy sat in the ring and on the chair and, inspired by Jelly Roll earlier, joined the slam poetry battle in his own way and recited the lyrics to his theme song.
That was the best part for me. When he when
It was good.
he
It was all good, man.
when he said, "I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me." I was like, this makes his theme song so much cooler, in my opinion. And I know it's headcanon, but when I think about it, and I think if the lyrics to his song can be characterized as simply something that Randy has said to himself, and obviously the I don't even remember who the band is that does that song, but
Rev Theory.
Rev Theory. Thank you. Yes, that's it. I'm pretty sure that Rev Theory and Randy were not theory crafting that song together when they made it.
No.
But it's fun to think that they did. It's fun to think that they did when you hear Randy recite those lines, right? That these are words that he has stated himself, or even now that he's reciting these words because they are literally true to where he is in his career right now, and that he has always had the voices, and that he does his best to tamp him down and to be the good guy, but it's such a hollow place for him to be, even though he's comfortable there sometimes. But he also said, hey, this is kind of on Cody. This is kind of on Cody. Cody gave him the go ahead. And, you know, as weaselly, slimy of a heel thing as it is to put the onus for the beatdown that you gave someone onto them for giving you permission to do it, he's not literally wrong. Technically, he's not wrong. Cody did tell him that, you know, hey, I know you're hearing the voices, and when it comes to the match, but that's the only thing. Cody did
Which
kind of say the
I
match.
still, that is such a good part to me because it was so Cody. I still love that, and we
Yes.
talked about it last week. I'm not going to belabor it, but to like cut him off and be like, "No, Randy, it's okay. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
We're still going to be friends after the match. It's good, pal.
Yeah,
Just do what
listen,
you need
it's
to do."
like somebody's about to tell you something really dangerous. Hey,
Yeah,
before you even say anything, man, I am cool and down
yeah,
with whatever. Okay, so we're going to rob a bank. wait a
Yeah,
minute.
right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Randy is just killing it right now.
Mhm.
And as much as I criticize Cody, I don't dislike Cody. And I believe that this feud is positioning Cody to really be in a Cody bag and
Mhm.
really kind of play his part really well. The only thing I wonder sometimes is how the fans are going to respond to this, because the fans are loving Randy right now.
Oh, they're gonna cheer for Randy and boo Cody, which is
Oh,
fine.
for sure.
Which I think is fine. But I think that WWE knows that. Like this is like you're not gonna boo Randy Orton at this point. Nobody is.
No,
I don't know what he could do. Personally attack the mother of each fan is where we'd have to go to get Randy Orton booed. And even then, maybe mom's had it coming.
you know what? According to Randy, if the voices told
Yeah.
him so, it's entirely possible that the voices had a grudge with people's moms and they just had to get got. It's very possible. But it's funny because I'll listen to the fans, right? And I'll listen to the fans boo because they are trained to boo. When Randy initially stomps on the chair that is wrapped around Matt Cardona's arm, right? Then they will shift from the shock of the moment causing them to boo to literally chant one more time. It reminds me of like the Roman Colosseum and just watching human beings getting slaughtered and the bloodthirsty crowd is just like more. And it's like, you rabid people. It's so funny to just consume sometimes because they really do like one more time, put him through another table, beat his head in, smash him. And it's like, okay, all right.
They chant that at me. That crowd chants that at me in 2K26, and I'm like, fellas, I'm just trying to get a win. I can't risk I can't risk a reversal here.
Certainly not against the Wyatts, apparently.
No, no.
Certainly not against the Wyatts. I
That's the
mean,
plug. If you want to see Everson and I finish the story against Uncle Howdy and Joe Gacy, go check us
oh,
out on YouTube.
listen, the hardest competitors I have fought in playing that game in the
Yeah,
entirety of my time playing it. I mean that. And I've been playing quite a bit of My Rise, and
the
I have,
biggest they buried the biggest names in the business one after the other.
oh my, listen, I don't like to use that word buried, but let me tell you something. Whoever
Oh,
booked
they
those
did it to
shows,
us.
they
They
buried
did it
them.
to us.
They
They did it to us. They got
buried
their revenge
them.
for nearly a year of us downing on the Wyatt Six. They got their revenge for
Oh, they
sure.
had receipts, brother. They had receipts. And look, I'm not gonna spoil anything for you guys. 'Cause I want you to go watch it, but I'm just gonna drop just a couple gems here for who they buried. Okay, Goldberg and Sting. I'm I'm just saying. I'm just
Hulk
saying.
Hogan and Cody Rhodes teamed up and couldn't get the job done.
And he's dead. He came back from the grave to get buried again.
I think we had
That's
multiple people
insane.
from the grave try to get him.
Oh my gosh. I mean, listen, they are working as a two-man wrecking crew and a funeral service. They are putting people back in the dirt after they come back from the grave. I've never seen anything like it. But you got to watch the live stream to see who was able to actually conquer the Wyatts, because it was the least expected team that I thought. Seriously.
To give a little bit away, we went online and played two random people, and we stomped them out.
We did.
First thing,
We
they were,
did.
yeah. So
It
Everson and
was
I
a
were feeling good,
it was a
and we
false sense of security.
and we took on the AI, and yeah, the AI just took it to us
It was a false sense of security. And look,
repeatedly.
you would think playing against real people, you'd find more of the challenge.
Yes,
And they had us in the beginning, right?
yeah,
And then we
they
got our
did.
footing and we were like, oh, snap, we won. I'm thinking when we put the AI on, right, that we're going to have a fun time because we're going to be wrestling
Yeah,
through a bunch of matches. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be great. I had no idea, you know what I'm saying, that like the AI was like benching 650, squatting like 1,000, you know what I'm saying, batting 1,000, and was coming into this thing hot. I had no idea. But
they
tune
were.
in, watch the live stream. It is a wild and crazy time. My wife literally said, you need to stop screaming so much because you're doing the most. And so I had to abide because, mama runs the house. So, uh, but listen, tune in and watch it. It was really freaking great. But this show was really, really on one. Jacob Fatu and Drew cannot seem to not take over every segment of this show. I
Which was
mean,
awesome.
from the beginning of the show to the end, which I admit was a bit comical, but it works. You need to sell this like nobody's business. So go over the top with it. Go over the top
Yeah,
with it.
I've always liked when they've done this. Who was it that did it with Bronson Reed on Raw for a while? They'd just be brawling in every segment. I forget who it was,
I
but they
don't
did this
remember.
and they'd just be fighting through. But
Yeah.
yeah, they did that again and it was great.
I love when they do stuff like this. I love when they really, really lean into the backstage segments. Like, I wish we would get more of this just throughout the year, but I get why using it sparingly makes for really great moments when you do. Because I distinctly remember, like, The Rock beating up Cody by his tour bus, bloodying him up and stuff like that. That was great. And this was just as good. Well, maybe not just as good, but it was very good though. How they got up there, where they got up to, and the fact that
At the end,
Nick
yeah.
Aldis and them could not seem to figure out a way to get around there and get them to stop.
Well,
It's crazy.
did it start with like Drew crashed his car into Jacob's car?
Apparently,
To
yeah.
start, yeah.
Apparently, we start the show with officials running to the back because there's been a car accident. And then we see Drew. The first shot you get is Drew on the hood of the car pulling the windshield off. What? I didn't realize, it didn't register with me at first that there was a car accident. Okay. So
I think the implication was that Jacob was entering the parking lot and Drew had been waiting there in his car and just rammed into Jacob.
I get that. In retrospect, totally understand, right? In the moment, though, Skeener, I did not register the car accident. So all I got was people running to the back, and then I see Drew pulling a windshield off of a car, right? And I'm just like, what are we have jumped the shark here just a little bit. Like, did Drew punch a hole in the windshield and then pull the windshield off the car to pull Jacob out of it? Because if so, Drew should not be losing any matches. He should not be losing a single match ever. This is the toughest man I've ever seen. But yeah, this happens. They usher Drew away. We get back to the show. Drew's out there in the ring. And then here comes Jacob from the back, and he's beating up Drew. Does he put him through a table?
At what point?
When Jacob returns, because Drew does what he does in the back, right? And then Drew comes out to the ring, and he's talking his talk. And then Jacob comes out there, and Jacob beats him up.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, he did the splash on the announcer's table off the... Yes. He got up on the barricade, right?
Right. So then he puts him through a table, right? Puts him through the announce table. And then later on, we get them, fighting backstage. Somebody's having a segment.
Mm-hmm.
And the segment is like cutting away to go to the next segment. And then here comes Drew and Jacob from off screen into frame, and they're just fighting in someone else's segment. And it's like, here we go again. And then we get the last shot where it's right back to what happens at the beginning of the show, where you have officials breaking from what they're doing to rush backstage out the back of the arena to find Drew and Jacob fighting on what I can only...
Yeah, I don't even know what to call that.
I don't even know what to call that thing, but it was elevated reasonably high off the ground.
Yeah.
And they were separated from everyone else by a brick wall. And you see Nick Aldis and everyone run up, and Jacob and Drew are fighting. There's railing there that's keeping them from falling over the side, but they are precariously leaning on it, leaning over it as they're fighting each other. And then somehow they end up climbing over the railing as they're fighting, and then they both hit each other and fall off. Now, what I really wanted them to do, Skeener, if you're really going to go here, I need you to go there. Like, if they were going to fall off, I needed somebody on the other side to slam something really hard and make a really devastatingly, sounding noise on the other side, right? Because they kind of went down and it didn't really make a noise, and it made me wonder what they fell on. But if you just clanged a bunch of bars together, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of stuff, crash some things, and just make it sound like they crashed through the top of a vehicle or something, go there. Just go all the way there. But I see now we're not going to be getting a triple threat. There's not going to be a bunch of people added to Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre like we had postured at one
Yeah.
point. I think they're going to go straight up one-on-one. Now, do we get some
Yeah.
steps? Maybe. You think we get like stipulations in this one?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think they could just do a regular one-on-one. Maybe it's a street fight, no DQ, something.
Yeah.
False count anywhere, something like that.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something.
And just let these guys do like this, because it's good and the fans are eating it up. It's getting I had shied away from saying it in the last few weeks because I thought maybe it's just me that feels that way, but I think this has done a good job of getting people super invested in Jacob Fatu again. And it wasn't his fault that it had cooled off, but like he was so red hot and then he had that injury.
Yeah.
And at least for me, when he came back, like I still know I like this guy, but I needed to be reminded how much I liked this guy and his intensity.
Yeah. No,
Just the simple fact that I think one of those backstage segments, I forget what he was saying, but he was just he'd hit Drew, say a curse word, hit Drew, say a curse word. I forget what it was, but they started bleeping it, and I'm like, okay, I remember why I love this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, we've been getting quite a few curse words that don't get bleeped as of late. I mean, maybe when we're getting close to WrestleMania, Netflix is allowing them to, ramp up their swearing a bit because we got quite a bit of it on Raw.
Did Drew blade this week? Did he blade in the opening segment?
I don't recall.
Somebody bladed this week.
Who was bleeding?
I don't know. There's 2 weeks in a row someone's bladed though.
I mean, listen, I think the gloves are off a bit. I think when they're building to WrestleMania, I think that they're allowing people to swear a little bit more, blade a little bit more. I wonder what those meetings are like when they're backstage. And they're like, hey guys, we're getting close to WrestleMania, so we're going to loosen the reins a little bit on, what it is we can do on camera. So if you got some ideas, bring them to us. They're more likely to get approved right now than I'm pretty sure when they're like on like an email, they got a little email that's like, hey, we're loosening the restrictions on some of your match ideas. So, bring all your ideas. We will consider them. But yeah, they fought all over the place. I thought that it was great. I agree. It definitely serves to heat up Jacob a little bit more because he did lose a little bit of steam after his injury. But obviously the fans love Jacob, and Jacob is a great entertainer. I think he's a really good professional wrestler, but he is a great entertainer. And he puts on a character that the fans really get behind and believe. And so all you need to do is put him in a position. Put him in a situation or a position where he can really lean into what makes him great for the fans. And that is absolutely these unhinged segments where he can really go freaking ham sandwich and do his thing. And WWE is leaning fully into it. And listen, Drew can go there too. Like, Drew can go there too, and he does really well with it too. One of my favorite feuds of, 2025 or 2024? I believe it was 2025, was McIntyre and Punk.
2024.
2024. Yeah, McIntyre and Punk.
You know that if you played the showcase.
You know what? You're right. I just haven't gotten around to doing that. I haven't gotten around to doing
I finally finished it.
Oh, did you?
So,
so you got all the Punks unlocked.
All the Punks and a bunch of other wrestlers we needed unlocked.
I'm gonna have to do that just to unlock the wrestlers. Like, I don't really want.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, the showcase was cool, but I was mainly doing it to unlock the wrestlers.
That's what I'm gonna have to do. I hate that I have to do it that way, but I may just have to do it that way because, but I don't have all the time in the world. That's the thing. I don't have all the time in the world to do all these things. So when I get the time to play, sometimes I just want to kind of play what I want to play. And I've really been invested in My Rise. But then again, I've also been invested in My Rise because I want to unlock all the creator wrestler stuff.
That's my next,
I want to unlock all the creator wrestler stuff. So I'm getting so many theme songs.
Oh.
Because the creator wrestlers have them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Not to derail the whole show with 2K26 talk, but Battle Pass bitching aside that people are doing online, I really enjoy the game for the gameplay. I'm having a bunch of fun with it. So My Rise, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start it here tomorrow because my wife's off, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get to create the male character, and then she has full reign over the female character.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I told her on Monday, I was like, get to thinking, like get the gimmick ideas rolling, cause you got to bring it on Thursday.
So your wife games too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Nice, nice. I've got my wife to play a few games. She enjoys it when she does, but I've got her to play a few games. Our thing has become Diablo.
Oh, okay.
So we played through Diablo 3 in its entirety together. That was
Oh,
during
really? That's cool.
COVID lockdown. We played through the game from start to finish. And then when Diablo 4 came out, we bought that and we played through that from start to finish. So I haven't got her to come back for the DLC,
Yeah.
but no, that's the thing we've been playing together. And I think it works because her hand-eye coordination is very rudimentary for video gaming. So
Yeah.
anything that would require the camera movement along with character movement,
Yeah, so I didn't realize how little I take that for granted, but
how much you take it
so
for granted.
yes, because to get deeper into the story and take the show off the rails even more,
Let's go for it.
when so my wife loves Harry Potter. So when Hogwarts Legacy came out,
Uh-huh.
it was around Valentine's Day, and I got her an Xbox Series to play the game
Yeah.
because I was playing at the same time on on the PlayStation. So
Yeah.
I got her that, and yeah, it took her a couple days to figure out like how to move and control the camera at the same time. Like she wasn't used to using both thumbs. I was like, I guess I forget that I've been doing that for years and it's just like second nature. But
It's second nature. Yeah, it's second nature. I when she told me that, I feel like she at one point, I can't remember, it was many years, but I played the Elder Scrolls Online, and
mhm,
I think at one point she was at home for something and I was at work or away, and she has watched me play it, and she's into those type of things, right? The high fantasy stuff. So she wanted to play it. I told her, I said, hey, look, this is how you log in, blah, blah, blah. Create your character, have fun, go try it. Right. So she told me that she tried it and she turned it off in like 5 minutes because she could not figure out how to not look at the ground.
the moment for me is I came in like a cup like 90 minutes after she had started and created her character in Hogwarts Legacy. Poor Kelsey. There was a spiral staircase she was trying to go
Oh,
up,
no.
but she can't like move the camera with the character, and it doesn't in that game. It didn't follow well.
Right,
So
right.
so yeah, she was getting all twisted around, and she's coming back towards the camera, then going away, and yeah, I was like, she got the hang of it eventually. She beat the game. She
Oh,
beat
it's
it on.
okay.
She was proud. She beat it on normal difficulty. At first, she was struggling. I was like, you can just turn it down to easy if you want. She's like, nope, doing it.
I'm down.
She
I
beat it
like
on
that.
normal. So yeah,
I like that. I like that. So that means she figured out the camera. She figured out how to do it. If she beat the
oh yeah,
game,
yep,
she figured it out. Okay, very
yep,
good. Very good. Very good. Kelsey, right?
yep,
I'm proud of you, Kelsey. Add a way
yep,
to stick with it. Add a way to stick with
yeah,
it. I gotta get Kashna back on it. Like, I gotta get her back on it. But I'm also not super duper pressed because she's not super duper pressed.
right,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's like she doesn't really follow any type of games. And so I'm the one that's telling her, hey, the new Diablo's coming out. Because
yeah,
I know she'll play that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But like trying to get her to play anything else, I wouldn't even attempt. She's not a gamer like I am. So, but yeah. So suffice it to say, what were we even talking about?
I don't know. I don't know
Something
where we
something
were
with
before.
SmackDown.
We
Some
had finished up on Drew and Jacob,
Yeah, we
but
finished on Drew.
we have new tag team champions.
We do, and honestly, this was not a surprise to
No.
me. This was not a surprise to me because as soon as they put our truth and Damian Priest together, I was like, dude, there's no way they're gonna lose this. Like, there was too much emphasis put on putting them together in the backstage segment to insert them into this and to have them lose. And on top of that, your tag team champions were MFT. And listen, as much as I like what I think what Tama Tonga, right? I think it's Tama
Is
Tonga. As much as
he's
I
the one
like
that stepped up to solo afterwards.
Yes, as
If
much
that's
as
what
I
you're
like
yeah.
the fact that they are leaning more heavily into Tama Tonga's backstory with Shinsuke, his history with Bullet Club, and allowing him to be a bit more of a star on his own, and Solo doing his thing, I don't think it is a stretch. I don't think it is a stretch to say that MFT has been successful so far as their feud against the Wyatts. But outside of that, we have not seen much MFT interaction with any other entity.
No,
For real,
they need to get they need to get them away from each other. They really do.
they do. And I think we're going to get away from that, obviously, because now you have the championship with Truth and Priest. And we still have to figure out the lantern thing, which obviously Tama was like,
Well,
hey,
now
give
yeah,
your lantern back, man.
yeah, now the rest of the T's are fed up and just said, just give the thing back.
Yeah, just give it back because we're losing everything right now. Just give it back. And I hope that they give the lantern back to the Wyatts so that they can use that lamplight to walk away from the TV screen and allow us to get.
Don't anger them anymore.
No, I'm
I'm
gonna
still
anger them.
I'm
I'm gonna anger
traumatized
them
from the
because
weekend.
when I get off this stream, when we get off this recording and I'm editing, I'm gonna turn on the PS5, right? I'm gonna put the game on 2-player and I'm gonna set the second player as Uncle Howdy and just let him sit.
Like we tried to book the handicap match, it wouldn't let us.
Wouldn't let us do it. But yeah, Damian Priest, R-Truth are your new tag team champs. I'm glad that they are the tag team champs because that means that they are going to go into WrestleMania and probably defend it against
I
someone.
thought they were gonna save the win for WrestleMania, but yeah, it's a fun pairing for now. And our Truth is always fun. He does great work.
For sure.
Has been doing it his whole career. As I still work my way through TNA, seeing him start and how quickly he got over
Yeah.
in that promotion. And it's funny because he's saying the most offensive things to this early 2000s predominantly white southern crowd,
Yeah.
and they're still just cheering the hell out of him, which I love.
You know what? And here's the thing, too. Damian Priest, who was once our world heavyweight champion, has plinkoed so far down the plinko board. Now that's an old reference for you Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right, folks. I think it's Price is Right. Yeah, Price is Right. He's fallen so far down the ladder, not with popularity because the fans still love him. But I think he needed this like Jacob needed this brawl for all with
Yeah.
Drew, right? Something to heat him back up a little bit because I do think that Damian Priest is a main event player. I do think he has the chops to do it. And the crowd loves him, right? But you have to give him something because right now it doesn't look like WWE is fitting to put a singles title around his waist anytime soon. And so anytime you put him in a situation, he's just going to catch an L for someone else. And you don't really want to do that if you do consider him to be somewhat of a star for your company. So putting him in this situation with the tag team championship and to have it with Truth, who is just beloved, you know what I'm saying, by everyone, I can see them having maybe a decent little run. I don't know how long it would actually be, but in light of the fact that aside from MFT, aside from the Wyatt Six, which is the only tag teams you seem to have really been pouring anything into right now, you can have Priest and Truth hold these titles for a decent amount of time while you start building up some credibility amongst some of your other tag teams to challenge for them. Because it still sucks. We still have 2 sets of tag team championships. And so you got to build up some tag teams. And our tag teams are dropping like flies right now. Like,
Looking like probably the Machine Guns, who
boring.
have a yes, but they now have they unwillingly have a heel manager seemingly.
Oh, in
And
Candace.
Candace, yeah, Candace helped them win, cheated for them,
So is she gonna
not
like
at their
not
request.
work with Johnny Gargano?
I don't know. He's just laying back there, and now he's $20 poor.
Oh, true.
That was our Danhausen segment.
Yeah. Them demand
Asked for a little
houses.
asked for a little human money, got some, disappeared,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I loved.
listen, is Johnny Gargano on his way out?
I don't think so. I think they're going to try to go somewhere with this. I
Yeah.
don't know where, but no, I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, I don't. There's nothing that was indicating to me that he could possibly be going out, but at the very same time, Ciampa left, and ever since Ciampa left, Johnny's been doing this whole planking backstage thing, right? And hasn't really been doing much of anything.
I think he's doing he's on TV too much to be leaving. Like I think they
Yeah,
have something planned for him. Now, could he still
unless
leave? Like,
unless
yeah,
they were
but
using this to set up Candace going with the Motor City Machine Guns, because this is the impetus for her helping them.
yeah, but I don't think they'd need to do that. They could have just done
True.
it 1 week and then Johnny could have disappeared and Candace could have done this.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do think it. Look, I will say this: the stuff that's been happening between Saban and Shelley has been the most I've been interested in the Motor City Machine Guns the entire time they've been on the roster. And honestly, and even that excitement is not that much because they are so milk toast to me. But they're doing
Yeah,
something
I mean, me
with
too.
them, right? Which is this whole thing about with Johnny and why are you wasting your time? Like you're splitting your attention with them, and we got to win this. And now Candace, this is the most conversation I have had about the Motor City Machine Guns ever. And
Yeah,
so, like, no, they didn't have to do this, but I think all of this has lent to a conversation to be had about the Motor City Machine Guns and Candice LeRae, right? This could be something that Johnny Gargano wanted to do to help get his wife into a situation where she's getting some more prominence as he's stepping away. But this is all speculative, folks. I am not like saying I have any inside knowledge. There's been nothing that has clued me into this. I'm just saying it's interesting because Ciampa left, right? And then we immediately go from Ciampa leaving to Johnny Gargano planking backstage, not really wrestling at all. The one time he gets his mojo back, he gets destroyed in the ring. Who was by Oba? Somebody beat,
yes.
by
Yes.
Oba Femi in the ring. And then he went right back to Depression Gargano, right? And then we get Candace helping the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know. I mean, unless we see Johnny on TV doing some wrestling to kind of, stick to his namesake, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing with Gargano. And if we were to hear that Johnny had let his contract expire and then he shows up with Ciampa in AEW, I would not be surprised one bit because he's not doing much of anything. And it seems like all of this seems to be in service of Candace. I don't see him stepping back in the singles competition anytime soon.
I think they're doing something. I think it's leading to something. I'm not saying it's leading to something good,
Yeah.
but I think it is leading to something.
Maybe a breakup between the Machine Guns.
I think that would kill them. I don't think they have any. I mean, who's excited to see them in singles competition? I know Chris Sabin had some success in TNA as a singles wrestler, but he had 10 years of equity before that happened. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
I
think at
don't
this point, I think that would be a death knell for them.
listen. I think that they are as close to death as they can get currently, and I don't think that they would be splitting up and going into singles competition. I think one of them might, but you could split them up and one of them go with Gargano.
Okay.
But
Maybe. I don't know.
But listen, at the end of the day, if I'm being honest, and it sounds cruel, but it is what it is. I don't really care that much.
Right.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
really care that much. This is the most I've cared about any of the parties involved in quite some time, right? And so, hey, look, kudos to all parties involved for doing whatever it is that they're doing currently because it's been the most interesting that they've been, in a while, but that is still a low bar. You know what I mean? That's a
Yeah.
very low bar. So, we'll see what they do, but they're going to need to start building up some tag teams to go against these championships. And for the love of God, WWE, please just unify the tag championships. This is such
Yeah.
an easy fix. This is such an easy fix that you could do to at least give your tag team division a shot in the leg, arm, ass, whatever you want to do to get them going. That would help them out, and you would have to do so little. You could keep booking your tag team division the way you're doing. If you just give them more competition for one set of titles, I think you'd be doing them a world of service. But, look, what do I know, man? I just host a podcast.
Yeah, that at least makes it not perpetually MFT versus Wyatt Six and Usos versus New Day.
Yes, you could at least mix it up with the Machine Guns. You can mix it up with Fraxium. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like those 4 teams currently: Fraxium, the Motor City Machine Guns, the New Day, and who else did who you named somebody else
The
too?
Usos.
The Usos, right? If you were to count MFT and the Wyatts, you've got 6 active tag teams. 6 tag teams that are actively competing between shows.
The Usos are the champs, and they don't even bring the belts out.
Yeah, that's how
I think they're at
weird is
home.
that?
I know,
How weird is that? Like,
and
why are we?
I think they're maybe defending them this next week.
I
I
believe
forget if that
they
match is for
are.
the title or not, but it's going to be taken under advisement. Maybe I don't know. Regardless, it still stands that they're the champs and they don't wear the belts around.
Who says? Who are they supposed to be competing
It's the
against?
Vision.
Oh, I think they're going to lose.
They might.
Just to kind of jump the raw shark real quick, I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose, and I think that they're probably going to
Probably
lose to kind of
because they've
forward
done
some
well.
story that's happening.
It gives the Vision as a tag team something to do, and if the Usos aren't going to wear the belts around, I don't think it's a big loss for them.
I heard somebody say that WWE should put the bloodline back together.
I mean, we'll get there on Raw. We'll see, but
To that, man, I'm gonna go and say it. To that, I say it's too soon. You're not gonna recapture that lightning the way you captured it before. And I'm not saying that you could never go back to the well, but at the very same time, I think it's too soon. I think if you go back to that too quickly, I think you run the risk of turning some fans who you think you're going to capture.
I
They're going.
think I think what they're doing now is perfect. Like it's not full on like back together, but they're planting the seeds that maybe.
Right.
I don't think we're getting like full on reunion and them dominating the show anytime soon, but I like what's happening right now with that. But we'll get there because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Well,
With,
listen, you definitely don't
that on
like it
Raw.
better than what we're about to talk about next, because this is your coup de grace here, your favorite. So, Aleister Black defeats Sami Zayn.
That's another win for Aleister Black in the past few weeks. A win over Randy Orton, now a win over Sami Zayn.
Aleister Black
they're
is the
doing something
connective
there.
tissue between, I think, and this is just my opinion, I think he's the connective tissue between Randy listening to the voices. I think it's going to be the connective tissue between Sammy tapping into something darker, and he's probably going to see some success with it. And I don't know if you do anything like directly connecting all of these people together, but at the very same time, I think they're setting it up. I think they're laying out the breadcrumbs.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? To where Aleister is the connective tissue that is showing these people that you should lean a little bit more into your non-better angels. And you'll probably see more success, or at least get what you want. You know, what Randy wants is to not be remembered for being the nice guy, but be remembered for how many championships he's won. And so leaning into who he really is, listening to those voices, right, is what he believes is going to have him defeat Cody at WrestleMania. And for the love of God, I hope he wins.
Well, I don't think we didn't talk about that part of Randy, but what a good promo.
Very good promo. Very good promo. We touched on it a little bit in the beginning, earlier in the podcast, with him coming to the ring, him discussing why it is that he did what he did to Cody. We talked about how
I didn't know where he was.
Permission.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was going with that when he started out, and he's like, "I've met all these fans, I've put smiles on their faces," and when he finally did the heel on it, he's like, "Ah, it doesn't mean anything to me." And I thought that was really good.
Great. He did it so.
Yeah.
He did it. It's not even matter of factish. He did it. He said it so confessional like.
Yeah.
Like he's confiding to the fans that he doesn't care about the fan interaction, and that he feels so hollow inside when he is in this type of space. And he realized that he doesn't want his legacy to be how much the fans adored him. He wants his legacy to be how many championships has he won before he leaves. And he decided that he was going to do what it took to submit his legacy the way that he wants to have it done. And that Cody wasn't supposed to be there.
Mhm.
Cody wasn't supposed to be there. And when Cody inserted himself into this, right, it was something that Randy did not want to do, but Cody gave him permission. Cody gave him permission to be whoever it is that he needed to be. And so Randy decided that he was going to be exactly who he felt like he needed to be. And I love that because that leads directly into Jelly Roll backstage. Now, who did Jelly run into before he ran into Randy?
Did he run into anyone?
He was talking with some people backstage before he ran into Randy and started talking to Randy backstage. I can't remember exactly who it is. It wasn't Danhausen.
No, the Danhausen things were
I Show Speed. Was that Raw?
that was on Raw.
Okay. Danhausen's everywhere.
I don't remember what he was doing before, but I know what you're saying.
But anyway, yes, he runs into Randy backstage and he pretty much, tells Randy, this is not the guy who had my back when people here in WWE were trying to take me out. And the person that you need to be is the person that shows up for your family, that shows up for your kids, that shows up for your friends. That's the person who people are going to remember when you leave, the people who matter to you. They're going to remember that person, not this person that I don't recognize. And I said this way less eloquently than Jelly put it, but Jelly, that was a great speech. And
he's a good promo.
He is.
He really is. Yeah.
He is. But look, you can tell the people who genuinely love professional wrestling. You can tell whether they are a Jelly Roll who has been a lifelong fan, and you can tell because when he's in front of the camera like that, he just gets it. He gets how to play a character for professional wrestling in front of a camera. Or you get somebody like a Logan Paul, who maybe he stepped into this because he thought it was fun. Maybe he thought it was cool. But you can tell by the man's dedication to being good at what he does in the ring that he's fallen in love with what he's doing. And you got to appreciate that. And so with Jelly, he delivers his promo in a way that would make you think that this man has been waiting his whole life to do this, because he probably has. And, he delivers a great promo, and Randy responds like Jelly gotten through to him, that he's kind of lost his way. And he went a little too far with Matt Cardona backstage, calling him, and I quote, what, Skeeter?
A mark-ass stooge and an indie nerd.
That's right. That's the words he used. And so he begs Matt to come out to the ring. Matt comes out there and he really, really, really genuinely, in quotes, asks for Matt's forgiveness. That he plays games too, and that he's a nerd too. And
action figures are cool.
Action figures are cool. And he really shouldn't have taken it there, that they've known each other for 20 plus years. And will you accept my apology? Drops the microphone, extends his hand, and Matt shakes his hand. They hug, and then Randy proceeds to kick his nuts off of his body. And then he proceeds to beat him down. I think he did an old school RKO.
Yeah. He had to kind of drag his limp body into it.
Yeah. And then, then he proceeds to go and grab a chair. And as the officials run out there, as Randy is sliding Matt Cardona's arm into the chair, they pull Randy off. They hold him back. Randy throws his hands up, and you can see the gears are turning. And for some reason, the officials and the black shirts in the back, they part like the Red Sea. Just enough for Randy to break free without a lot of opposition and pull part 2 of Randy slips in, destroys someone, and then slips out. I love it. I wish they would have closed the gap just a little bit so that it really looked like Randy had his hands up, and then he slips through them really quickly and stomps on this chair, quote unquote, breaking Matt Cardona's arm and then slipping out. They kind of left the gap open a little bit too much, and it was foreshadowed way too much. But needless to say, the result was the same. I thought it was freaking excellent. I love seeing Randy destroy people. And this old school 0809 Randy, in my opinion, is the best Randy. And all I need for Randy to do, if he's even capable, I need Randy to grow his facial hair out just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I need.
I didn't know what you were gonna say, because there's one request I have. I
need true 09 Randy, Skeeter. I need the beard that's like that's well defined and cut. That was my favorite Randy. But What's your request for Randy?
I think we're gonna get it.
Okay, what is it?
I think Cody's getting punted at WrestleMania.
Ooh, yeah.
I think he punts him and then Cody gets a little break. And right now, that's what I'm predicting. Is
Okay,
Randy's winning that match after he punts Cody.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. So we're having this match. Randy, at some point, maybe I'm adding to your idea here. Randy at some point is positioning himself to do some crazy ish, and then maybe he thinks twice about it. Maybe by Cody's behalf, maybe someone else's. Who knows? And then Randy hauls off and punts Cody,
Hmm.
and the crowd is in shock and awe. Maybe officials come out, maybe medical comes out there, and they separate Cody and Randy for a bit. And then Cody, being the ever present heroic figure that he is, just won't give up. He won't surrender. And then he puts himself right back in the crosshairs of a Randy who does not give a damn that you're not going to surrender. And
I think the punt is the finish at WrestleMania.
okay.
And Cody's just lifeless, and they roll him out of the ring onto a stretcher, and then Cody gets a big return somewhere in the summer
Mm,
to kind of quell the, I guess, Cody fatigue that some people have.
yeah.
Maybe that would be my idea. That's how I'd like to see it go right now, but who knows?
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. And we can do Orton Rhodes 2 at SummerSlam. Like
Wouldn't hate it.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. But
It
yeah,
gets
I
Randy on my TV pretty much every week, so I'll take that
absolutely,
if he carries
absolutely.
that belt to SummerSlam.
Well, and yes, and if he carries it to SummerSlam as well, it does give us the opportunity to get Randy in some short-term feuds with some people that maybe we wouldn't see Randy feud with.
Yes.
And that's always great because anytime we can get more Randy on our television, I am totally down.
If he's working at his peak like he is right now, for sure. Not that he's
Absolutely.
ever bad, but like if he's
No,
on
I'm
this
with you.
level, woo.
I'm with you. And listen, I just need Randy to stay healthy. I just need him to stay healthy. But he seems like he's hitting on all cylinders right now. So, I ain't mad. And I think they're using him. They're using him well, obviously, because we're building to this match at WrestleMania. So we're getting to see Randy a lot without having him to compete a lot. And that's
Mhm.
good. You know what I mean? If you just put him on my TV a lot and then, intersperse some matches in there, it will take the place of feeling like we have to see him in the ring all the time. And that's good. That's good enough. We don't need to have Randy in the ring every week. We just need to have him on TV every week. And
You
so
know who we are getting in the ring on weekly TV?
who that?
Jelly Roll. We have a
Uh,
Jelly Roll match next week.
we do have a Jelly Roll match last week, next week against one Kit Wilson. After they have a poetry slam,
Yes.
which he thought
I
was going to
believe
be a freestyle battle.
Jelly treated it like a rap battle, and Kit treated it like slam poetry. And he's always got his poetry book at the ready.
He does. He does. And Jelly was very much insulted by Kit Wilson's musings.
Yes.
And he requested via Mr. Aldis a match against Kit Wilson, to which Nick Aldis graciously said he would put on. So we are getting a pre WrestleMania match with Jelly
Maybe.
Roll involved.
I
So
do
you
you
don't think
think
the match is going to happen?
no.
Mm,
No, I don't. I think this whatever happens, I think sets up for the Jelly Roll match at WrestleMania.
that makes
But
more sense.
yeah, I doubt it will happen. But maybe it does.
I wonder what could happen that could cause this match to not take place. Maybe Kit Wilson assaults him. Maybe he attacks him
Yeah, so
backstage.
I haven't this is not my idea. I saw it online,
Okay.
but it makes sense when I see it that we get because I don't know. I still don't see Joey Roll doing a singles match. Not yet. Not quite yet. What
Hmm.
if we do? What if we do Miz and Joey Roll against, or not Miz and Kit Wilson against Joey Roll and Danhausen? Because
Why Danhausen?
we're getting repeated Miz and Danhausen.
Okay.
We've gotten YouTube stuff with Joey Roll and Danhausen,
Oh, I
and
haven't
we've
seen
got
that.
Miz and Kit Wilson stuff. So
I have not seen the online stuff with Jelly and Danhausen.
it's been very quick. I think it was in the his Stone Cold video, which just I some people may not find that funny, but that hit so well for me. Did you see that?
No,
Danhausen being Stone
I
Cold.
watched the thing you sent me about The Rock,
No,
And
I'll have to send you it. It hits me in just the right
I thought it was
in
listen,
just
the
the
thing
right
with The
way.
Rock, I thought it was funny, but I may be one of those people that that you were literally just talking about. Like, I thought it was funny, but I didn't think it was so funny that I want to keep up with Danhausen. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think
Yeah,
Danhausen reminds me a lot of Santino and how Santino's character was within WWE, which is great. Love Santino. But if Santino had a YouTube channel where he was just doing Santino stuff, I don't know if I would watch it. I think I like it within the confines of the
that's
show.
fair.
You know what I mean? But I get why people like Danhausen because I think his character on screen is. I think WWE is using that character exactly the way that character should be used. And it's absolutely great. I'm glad he's here. Um, I think the box is a little bit overhyped, but I'm glad we are where we are. For sure. Now, Skeener, I have to get to the best part of SmackDown.
For you, yes.
The best part of SmackDown. So Jade Cargill is going to have another one-on-one conversation promo with one Rhea Ripley. Jade Cargill comes out to the ring. She says, "Cut the music. Rhea, I know you back there, so go on and come out. So go on and come out." Or was it Rhea came out first and she called out Jade? She called out Jade.
Yeah. Yeah, she
And
called that.
so Jade comes out and she's walking to the ring. And as she's walking to the ring, here comes Meechin and BFAB. Meechin and BFAB are looking to whoop some of Jade's ass. But wait, there's more. All of a sudden, to some, not to me, because I saw this. BFAB and Meechin look at each other. They look at Jade, and then they turn and they all face Rhea together. BFAB and Meechin have joined Jade. They are Jade's entourage. They are Jade's hitters. They are Jade's girls. Jade had this in her early days in AEW back when I was trying to watch the product. She had them there. Now, I think a lot of that at the time was to help bring Jade along because Jade was very, very, very green. And putting her in a stable with some girls who could handle themselves, build a story around that was really good for her. But at the same time, I think that story-wise, it worked. It worked really well for her. And to bring Jade in here now, to put them with her, BFAB and Meechin, I think it just works. I think Jade is that boss bitch type character who would work well with an entourage around her, who can do a lot of the hitting and talking trash for her, right? I think that works out great. And like I said at the top of the show when I was alluding to this, I think that this is going to do wonders for Meechin and BFAB. I think they are entertaining enough on their own. I think they're entertaining enough on their own. They're solid mid-carders, and I think that nobody, including including Meechin and BFAB, are confused about where their position is on the card. And so I think when you do get talent who knows their role and knows how to play it, they can do what they do with the time that they have really well. And I think for the few seconds that Meechin and BFAB will get on the screen, taunting Jade, threatening to beat her up, and stuff like that, I think they've worked well with this whole thing to just kind of set the stage for this to look and go off really well. And I think this segment went off really well, Skeener. I think that it stacks the deck against Rhea going into Mania, that Jade has got her entourage with her. And honestly, to me, I think this sets it up even more, the idea that Rhea does not beat Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the title. I just don't think you build Jade this way and now you build a stable around her, right? With her entourage to have her then go into WrestleMania a few weeks from now and lose the championship.
Yeah, it's more likely. It gives another angle because we've still got a few weeks till WrestleMania that we couldn't just do if we're not going to do pose downs and arm wrestling, which is the best idea. Then giving Rhea another obstacle because we can't just do the call out and promo for another
No,
month.
no, no, we can't. No, we definitely can't.
So yeah, I'm fine with it. It's not lighting my world on fire yet, but
Lighting mine on fire,
like
brother.
you said, it gives me Chin and BFAB something to do. So
My world is lit on fire. If you look outside the window behind me, the world is in ruin behind me. And I like this. I think that the story has been told pretty well. I think the story's been told pretty well. And this is why I said, guys, we needed to have that match between Jade and Meechin. We don't get here if we didn't have that match. And if we did, I don't think it would have mattered as much. I don't think it would have made as much sense if we had just glossed over that match and never had it. And then all of a sudden, Meechin and BFAB just show up and now they're with Jade. That makes no sense. But at the same time, I think that this is just a really great way to take some talent that are being utilized in the way that I think the promotion wants to use them, but this is an opportunity to use them a bit better. And I think this is a great way to do it, is to put them in a stable with someone who you are establishing as a big star. She is currently your WWE Women's Champion. And listen, I don't think that when Randy Orton put together Legacy back in the day, that anybody was looking at Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes as anything other than the sons of superstars who were pretty good wrestlers in the ring. That was about it. And I think that putting them with Randy elevated their careers. What they did with it, obviously, Ted, is their own business, but you give them the platform.
Recently exonerated accused criminal Ted DiBiase.
Well, he was exonerated?
He was okay. That may be a strong verb for my lack of knowledge on the case. He was found not guilty. So there you go.
Okay. Okay. So
I don't
based
know
on
if he was exonerated, but his guilt was not proven beyond a reasonable doubt, according to a jury of his peers.
Well, listen, all I'm going to say is I didn't hear, at least from the little bit that I know, I don't recall hearing anything about Ted DiBiase Jr., him specifically, because this whole situation was between him, his father, and his brother, right? And embezzling some money and misappropriating of funds and a whole lot of thing with like some scheme that they were running. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm not mistaken, the only one of those three people who did not proclaim that they did not do the things that they were accused of was Ted DiBiase Jr.
Not guilty, brother.
Hey, look, I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm saying he never argued that he didn't do what he did. He just wasn't guilty because the evidence did not find him guilty. But he never said he didn't do it. That just means the evidence didn't say he did it. His brother and his dad were like, we didn't do that.
You know, I Googled to make sure I didn't misspeak or anything.
Yeah.
The first result is Ted DiBiase Jr. teases WrestleMania appearance.
Boo.
I mean, he ain't gonna be there, but
Listen,
it's just funny that he's
Randy better
right back
not be
to work.
talking to Ted DiBiase Jr.
No
I heard somebody say that too.
No.
I heard somebody say, dude, maybe he's talking to Ted
He was
DiBiase Jr.
he was still facing decades in prison when the angle started.
Right.
So I don't think that was the plan.
Right. I hope Randy was not.
I think it's Shane. I think it's Shane before it's Ted DiBiase Jr.
Oh, 1000%. Right. Like if we're digging into the barrel of monkeys to pull someone out here, I don't think it's Ted DiBiase Jr. It would more likely be Shane. It'd more likely be Vince before we get Ted DiBiase Jr. being called out here. That would be Danhausen levels of coming out of a box. I mean, I think people would be like, "Who's
Ted
Randy talking to?"
would be way worse than the Danhausen debut.
I think there'd be more WWE people who would know who Ted DiBiase Jr. was than they knew who Danhausen was.
You think?
Yeah, I just think that they'd be sorely disappointed. Like we build up to bring him out, Ted DiBiase Jr., the least successful person out of Legacy, and then a lot of people be like, "Hey, wasn't he tied up in some like crazy finance stuff with his dad?" And then WWE be a whole nother thing about, oh, here we go again, WWE, and dealing with people who got questionable things going on around them. WWE, TKO, I don't think they have any interest in Ted DiBiase Jr. I think they have more interest in bringing back Shane, which also is not happening, Mr. Meltzer. I don't know who he's talking to on the phone, but I don't think it's Shane, and I certainly don't think it's Ted.
The last time Shane was in the ring, his legs were going the wrong way.
I was about to say, the last time he showed up to do work in the ring, his legs did not show up to do work in the ring. And when he blow out both his freaking quads
I don't remember exactly, but it was not good.
I think he blew out both his quads. I think he blew out both his quads in that match. In that little segment he had with Snoop and The Miz.
It was something.
It was not
What was that?
good.
That was what was that? 30 Mania 39?
Something like that. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I think that was his last one.
I think so. But yes, Meech and B-Fab joining Jade Cargill. I think it's the best part of SmackDown now, folks. Hands down. That's not even, I'm not even ribbing you. I think it's great. I think it's great. So then we talked about Jelly, we talked about Kit. Okay, so we had the Irresistible Forces defeating the Bellas. Well, no. DQ.
Yeah,
DQ by
setting they're
Charlotte
still setting
and
things up.
Alexa.
This seems like it'll be the multi-team match at
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
and listen, shout out to all people involved. I like Charlotte and Alexa. I like the Irresistible Forces. I'm okay with the Bellas. I think this has been so ridiculously dumb in its booking.
I agree with you. It's just been all over the place.
It's just been so lackluster in its logic.
Yes, I agree with you.
The logic just makes no freaking sense. Like the angles themselves are not bad, right? Logic was a specific choice of words because the angle itself is not bad because it's not anything we've never seen in professional wrestling before. But the logic of why Charlotte and Alexa would respond to the Bellas the way that they have when the Bellas cost them their title match makes zero freaking sense, right? Then the Bellas coming back after what? Not tagging together in how many moons? And they go directly into a championship match against the Irresistible Forces. That makes no sense whatsoever. Then we get to the match, and Charlotte and Alexa come down to quote watch the match, and the Bellas are no more the wiser that Charlotte and Alexa are about to do the exact same things to them that they did. It makes zero sense. And I have zero doubt in my mind that in this triple threat tag team match for the tag team championships, the Irresistible Forces are going to walk away as the winners.
You don't think it's a fatal four-way?
Oh, with who? Lyra and Bailey?
Lyra and Bailey, who have earned this title shot
Oh,
for
that's right. I forgot.
next Raw, right?
That's well, yeah. So they're going to wrestle the Irresistible Forces next Raw.
I believe so.
Oh, that's right.
Because they won a number one contenders match against the Kabuki Warriors.
You know, you're right. This is what happens when you only have one set of tag team championships.
Or I don't know if it got made official, but Bailey challenged them in her little post match promo.
I can't imagine
For
that
next
it's
week
not
at
going to.
Madison Square Garden.
I can't imagine that they're not going to accept or what's his name? Scat Daddy is gonna say no to Scrap Daddy. That's a Scat Daddy. He's not a scat man. But I don't think that they're gonna say no to this match. And so you probably are getting a fatal four-way there. But like I was saying though, you can do so much more when you only have one set of tag team championships. It can branch across both shows. You can use a lot of different tag teams. Like, it just makes more sense. The women never had two tag team championships because they just had them introduced, correct? I don't think they've ever had two sets. They didn't have one for SmackDown and one for Raw. Okay, right. This is the benefit. WWE. It boggles my mind, gentlemen, ladies who are running this show. You already have the blueprint in front of you. It's why the women's tag team division has outshined the men's tag team division ever since those titles were introduced. You know, and mind you, I'm saying this in light of the fact that this build to WrestleMania for these women's tag team championships has not been good. It has not been good, but you can do so much better when you have more teams that you can get involved. You can just have better teams to circle the championship when you have these big moments like this. Because look at the teams that we've got. Lyra and Bailey, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, the Irresistible Forces, and the Bellas. I mean, and look, are the Kabuki Warriors out of this? Are they out of it completely? I guess Bailey and
Seemingly, yes, because they lost. And now I think the direction for that is if they're involved in WrestleMania, we're going to go ahead and do the Asuka versus Kyrie match.
You think Asuka versus Kyrie or Asuka versus Io?
Either one.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
Because they seem like, I could see that. I could see that too. And Asuka versus Io, and then at some point Kyrie has to make the choice.
I think we probably get that Asuka versus Io match at WrestleMania, and I think
It makes sense
Asuka
too.
is going to expect Kyrie to help her win that match, and Kyrie's going to say no, and the crowd's going to lose their mind because they love when somebody stands up for themselves.
And then we
And
have the Sky Pirates back together.
oh yeah, Io and Kyrie,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, that works. That works. Asuka does not need team or a stable around her to be Asuka, right? And this will be a good separation for Asuka so that she can definitively go back into the singles scene, right? And whether that's for a world championship or the intercontinental championship, because that title is super hot too, right? Bring Asuka back into the singles competition while you're reintroducing Io back into the singles competition. So yeah, I think it works. I think that absolutely works. Or you could put Io, like you said, with Kyrie, Sky Pirates, and they're another prominent tag team. That works. But WWE, please learn from this. You've got the examples in front of you. You just don't seem to want to do anything with it. And we've already talked about the Randy Matt Cardona
Yeah,
segment.
I think we got everything on SmackDown now.
So let's jump over to Raw, and I need you to start
Okay.
because I'm
Where am I
playing.
starting?
Well, I'm playing. What was I playing? I think I was playing Elder Scrolls. I think I was playing Elder Scrolls Online. I'm getting ready for Raw, right? I'm playing Elder Scrolls. I get locked in. I look up, and it's 8:17, and I'm like, shoot, Raw's on, right? So I go and turn on Raw. It's right
You
smack
missed it.
dab in the middle of Oba and Brock, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to rewind to see how this got started, but because it was live, it wouldn't let me do it. So
Oh, you
I
can't
wasn't able to
start from
rewind.
beginning.
Huh?
I see. I can always rewind.
I,
And
I could too when I got later in the
a-
show.
and this week, which is nice, at least on US Netflix, you could skip commercials again on the replay. They
Nice.
they took away that ability for a while,
Nice.
which I would
Nice.
expertly it pays to be a long-time sports entertainment watcher because you could tell when they were leading into commercial break.
Yeah.
And if the commercial started, it would lock the scrubbing slider and you couldn't do anything. But if I skipped ahead like 3.5 minutes right before they went to break, worked perfectly every time. I just had to be on my toes. But now the commercial can start and you can skip it now, which is nice.
Nice. So Skeeter, lead us off, man. Lead us off. How does Raw get started?
Paul Heyman comes out with Brock. He is not happy. He's running down the overhyped ruler, Oba.
Okay.
And it's just a great Paul Heyman promo, really. I mean, he puts over Brock Lesnar, but he also puts over Oba Femi because for a while he's talking and he hasn't said his name.
Mm.
And he's just calling him the overhyped ruler and the man who took advantage of Brock last week. And then he goes, for everyone that doesn't know who I'm talking about, it's Oba Femi. And that's just a little nice touch. And Paul's just so good at making the target of his client always seem impressive too.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he does the thing. He's like, who's this guy gonna be when John Cena couldn't take down the Beast, when AJ Styles couldn't take down the Beast, when he wants to be the one that ends the one in 21-1. We bring up this conquering of the streak again, but yeah, Oba comes out, marches down to the ring. We get a bunch of shots of people in the crowd
Yeah. Yeah.
strutting with
Yeah.
Oba, which is as over as it gets
Oh, it's
right
so
now.
over, dude.
And Oba, they have a little stare down, and you can see Oba say to him, I think this is not exactly, but something like, "Okay, no excuses now." And Brock gets him up on his shoulders. Oba fights out and clotheslines him out of the ring. So for 2 weeks in a row, we get Oba Femi getting the best of Brock Lesnar in a big way. And the segments have just been electric so far. And I think we're going to keep getting that because, like I said, I'm pretty sure Brock is on every show. I think he's on the next four before WrestleMania. So, or three, four, however many we left. Brock Lesnar's on every Raw. So,
Yeah.
it's going to be explosive.
Yeah. I came in on this segment right as they are jaw jacking in the ring, Oba and Brock. And then you see Brock lift up Oba and He looks like he struggled just a little bit to get Oba up. Oba slips free, clotheslines him furiously over the top rope, and Brock looks up in stunned disbelief.
Yes, that was great when he was laying against the barricade.
In stunned disbelief as Oba so casually clotheslines him over the top rope. Do we think that this continues for the next 2-3 Raws? Like, because I have almost no doubt at this point that we get to WrestleMania and Oba dog walks Brock. But how we get there,
It has to swing back the other way a little bit.
that's what I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Because I mean, it's like I say that because yeah, of course you want to do that, right? Because you don't want to lean so heavy into Oba doing this to Brock that you set this expectation that Brock is going to get the W back. He's going to get the W at WrestleMania because Oba's gotten the upper hand every single interaction, right?
Well, that, and also I think it would be almost too dominant if he just gets the better of Brock for, a month and a half straight and then squashes him at WrestleMania. Then you almost have to have him dominate everyone else for the foreseeable future, which is okay, but the shelf life of that is
Brock Lesnar.
short. Is short, yeah.
No, the
Even
shelf life of that is Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's been that dude for how long? Like they strapped
right,
the rocket
but
to
even
Brock.
then he loses matches. Like
True, he does.
I get it, but even Brock wouldn't dominate guys for 6 straight weeks. They'd get a hand up on him. But maybe they do. I don't know. I don't think it continues just because it would almost put Oba's ascension and rise into a box and on such an abbreviated and shortened timeline that they wouldn't have flexibility left. Like if this dude beats the shit out of Brock for 6 straight weeks and then beats him in 4 minutes at WrestleMania, he better have a title match the next night. And what if that's probably not in the plans.
Yeah.
So even if it would work, I don't think it's smart it just puts them into a box. If he's too dominant, then they have to pay that off, essentially. Because what's the argument against if Obafemi, destroys Brock for 6 straight weeks and destroys him at WrestleMania? He should probably have a title match pretty soon after. And they may have other stuff planned for that.
Sure. I mean, listen, I could fantasy book it, right? I could see a world where Oba picks his spot, where like he picked Brock, right? He could pick his spot where, SummerSlam comes around and he shows up and he's fitting to challenge whoever is holding whatever title he wants to go after.
But my concern would be, what does he do in the meantime then between WrestleMania and SummerSlam?
He Goldberg.
How does he go from destroying Brock Lesnar to feuding with whoever?
He Goldbergs,
I guess. But do you have a big enough roster to Goldberg it once a week? I mean, I guess Apollo Crews needs to pop up on TV.
He does. Listen, Apollo needs something to do.
But that's 1 week. But that's 1 week.
Matt Cardona needs something to do.
I'm not sure they didn't write Matt Cardona off TV already. He got his arm broken. Looked to me like so.
Oh, listen, look.
He just came back to work, and they're already getting him off TV.
Hey, they've used Matt Cardona like once or twice since he's been back.
He's been on TV every week. He hasn't done things.
I get that's what I'm saying. He ain't wrestled for real. I'm talking about 1 or 2 times wrestling. Like they use him backstage the way they use Apollo backstage, right? He got himself a sweetheart contract, and that sweetheart contract is that said, hey man, we like you, so come on back. And we got
they said, hey man, we like your wife and we want her to be happy. Is what they did.
They already had Chelsea.
And and you're friends with QB1. We like your wife. Why don't you just come back?
Listen, Chelsea was doing better before he got here. Ever since Matt Cardona has been here, Chelsea has lost titles, gotten injured, right? She was meteorically rising before he got here. Just won the United States Championship before he got here. He shows up and she's dropped the U.S. title. She's lost the mixed championships at AAA. She's now injured. She's not even going to be factoring into a storyline, I think, at WrestleMania. But hey, you get
Well,
to
she's
spend
hurt.
time with
I
Matt.
mean,
You get to spend
but
time with
what
Matt.
she's doing is great. I love the
I agree.
constant. I love Nia just wheeling her off every week.
Yes, pushing her off screen every week.
Yes.
Listen, maximize the time you got. That's why I love
Mhm.
Chelsea Green. Like, maximize the time you get and make it work for you. I love that. So, I'm not certainly hating on her, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do with Oba. I don't disagree. So I don't disagree. I don't think that Oba gets the one up on Brock every week going into Mania, right? And I get it. You do need to build some credibility around Oba challenging other people. But I didn't follow Oba's NXT run. I don't know how much he lost in NXT.
Not a lot, but he had it, like it's just it is the Goldberg principle. Like the ultra dominant has a very short shelf life.
Yeah.
And I don't think WWE will make that mistake. Not that you can't be ultra dominant in spurts, but you can't do it like so much that it becomes nonsensical that anyone else would ever pose a threat to you. I think that's maybe where you like kind of border on. If you destroy Brock Lesnar too much, then who is reasonably at your power level?
Yeah. So I'm looking at, I just Googled how much did Obafemi lose when he was in NXT.
Well, he obviously did not lose the title because he vacated the title. But like he'd lose in like multi-man matches. He lost to Ricky Saints beat him for the title before he got it back.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like completely out of the realm for him to lose, where I think you border on the absurd if he destroys Brock Lesnar too much.
No, I get that. I understand. Let's see.
I mean, he did not lose a lot of matches, don't get me wrong. Like it may have been single digits, and it may have been like one hand too. But
So it says in his early career on NXT, on NXT Level Up in 2022, he lost a tag match. He went on an undefeated streak in 2024 for over 30 matches.
there you go.
He lost the NXT
I know he was
championship.
losing it. Yeah, he lost to like Tony D'Angelo.
He
At one
lost
point.
a North American
Yeah,
championship to Tony D'Angelo.
and then he didn't beat him in the rematch,
He
and
didn't
then
beat him in
that's
the
when
rematch. Yeah.
and then they built him towards the title,
Then he loses the
which he
NXT
won.
championship to Ricky Saints.
Yeah, then
And
he
then
wins
he
it back.
vacated it when he came up to the main roster. So
Yeah,
he
I don't
lost
think he's
maybe
lost
3
since.
or 4 matches
Yeah,
in his entire time in NXT, including Level Up.
it's okay. Asuka didn't lose any. But you see what that created with Asuka originally, and then you have the Mania match, and she loses the Charlotte Flair, and then it's the end of the world. I just think those big dominant streaks put you in such a trap doing storylines and angles for people.
Yeah, I think if done right, I think you can do it. I think it can work.
I think if you plan out the timing well, it can. But my thing would be again like what is he if like you want to wait till SummerSlam to crown him, what the heck would he do between now and SummerSlam if like what's even plausible? Like is he just punching down on the undercard for fun? Which I mean, I guess you could do, but
I mean, look, he could do that, or maybe you don't overexpose him in it, right? Like maybe he dominate. Like let's just say for the sake of this conversation, he were to have dominated Brock all the way up through WrestleMania, and then he dominates Brock at WrestleMania, right? And then let's say we get
you would
a
he would
splattering
at
of
I think
Oba.
at that point in kayfabe, he's like the best wrestler of all time if he does that. If you just dominate Brock Lesnar for 2 months and then squash him, I think kayfabe wise, you're like the most unstoppable wrestler
I
ever.
mean, look. Goldberg didn't do that for as long as Oba would have done it if he does it here, but that's exactly what happened with Goldberg. When Goldberg beat Brock at what Mania was that? Was that
All of
30?
them, right? Oh no,
The
no,
latest one that he
didn't Brock win at WrestleMania 33?
wait.
Yeah, Brock beat Goldberg. Brock beat Goldberg at Mania, but Goldberg squashed him at Survivor Series and then like threw him out in 2 sets. in like, 20 seconds in the Royal Rumble.
Okay, so
And then Lesnar
that's something
beat
about
him at
that's something
WrestleMania.
about Survivor Series. Okay, that's something about not Mania, Survivor Series.
Yeah, when he first came back.
Yeah. So I don't think in the build up to the match with Goldberg and Brock at Survivor Series, I don't think Brock ever got the upper hand on Goldberg.
I don't think there was much build. I think there were only like 2 appearances. Like Goldberg came back and then the match was set up and then they had it. But I think that's a different scenario because that was Goldberg coming back after so long and we didn't know what they'd do with Goldberg. And then they just let him be Goldberg and it was such a shock. Like
Right.
I don't think we saw Goldberg get physical before that match.
True, but I'm saying
Oba
though,
we've seen for
we're
2-3
building
years.
Oba like Goldberg.
I don't think that's the smartest thing to do because I think you run into the traps of what do you do with Goldberg? If he's so dominant, how do you ever beat him?
I mean, WCW did it.
Yeah, and it ended up not working out that well past the initial. I just think trying to recreate that
I
is
understand.
not the way to do it.
I understand. I'm just saying if you wanted to do it, there are smarter ways to do it than doing Goldberg. There's
Yes.
smarter ways to do it than doing Goldberg. You could do a dominant guy who very rarely loses. You know what I'm saying? But you just don't have him on TV every week. I think Goldberg, the mistake that WCW did with Goldberg was putting Goldberg on TV every week, having him run through people every week. And you did it by bringing in any jobber that you could find in any town that you were in, right? And then when you had these main event matches where you bring in the superstars you're going to pit him against, you fed them to Goldberg. I think that was the mistake they did with Goldberg because you couldn't establish him actually having a loss, right? But we've already established that Obafemi can lose matches, right? It's just a matter of how long before he takes an L. I think that's the question here because it's like we can't take Oba on the main roster as if his NXT run didn't exist.
If he wins at WrestleMania, which we think he do, I don't think he'll lose a singles match until he is dropping the championship.
So that means that every match that he wrestles prior to him winning the championship, he's going to win it.
Yes, but I don't think he needs to be undefeated in the punk out Brock Lesnar for 6 straight weeks way. That's what I
get you. I get you. I can, like I said, I can see him not getting the upper hand all the entire way to WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? I can see that happening. But you know what I think would be a great way to book that? Have Brock get the upper hand on Oba by doing some sneak shit.
Yeah.
Some stuff that plays to this insecurity that Brock may be having. You know what I'm saying? As to whether or not he can take the ruler. And then
they are definitely playing into that with even commentary. They're like, we've never seen anyone manhandle Brock Lesnar like this. Even if we have seen John Cena toss him around like this before, we're going to treat it like it's just so clear what they're doing with Oba.
Right.
That now we're just having discussions about how they're going to do it.
Yes. I would love to see maybe having an interaction between Brock and Oba be scheduled for Raw, right? And then what do we get, Skeena? We get officials running backstage in shaky cam, and Oba is kind of like laid out, and Brock could like hit him with a chair, or something like that.
I think that's kind of the way we're gonna go too.
I think you do something like that, right? Because that allows for what we've been talking about, which is for Oba to not physically get the upper hand over Brock every week going into Mania, but it also plays into this idea that Brock's insecure right now. He does not know if he can take Oba straight up. And so now he's leaning into tactics that we wouldn't normally see Brock do, right? And this also follows this train of things that the announcers are saying that like, I don't think we've ever seen Brock get manhandled like this. And now you have Corey Graves talking about, when's the last time you saw Brock attack somebody backstage with a chair? You know what I mean? And Brock is acting real kind of sus with regards to how confident he is that he can take Oba, right? But maybe you get that a week, and then maybe you get a situation where Brock is talking a bunch of trash, maybe talking a bunch of trash through Heyman, right? But you don't actually get them coming to blows, and it doesn't put Oba in a position where he's dominating Brock again. But at the very same time, you could also maybe play an angle where it's like, is Brock avoiding Oba? You know what I'm saying? And you don't say it out loud, but you let the commentators do it, right? Like, is Brock avoiding Oba? Because Oba's called him out and Brock hasn't showed up, right? And then maybe you do that first. And then the next showing, you have Oba be attacked by Brock backstage, right? And that's maybe the last interaction you have between them going into WrestleMania. And then you get the WrestleMania match, right? Where, like, okay, we're going to see what happens when they go square up and it's a match and there ain't no chairs involved and there ain't no sneak attacks involved. And then Oba beats Brock. And we get that definitive, oh, okay, so I guess this is what it is. Oba is that new guy.
Yeah. I think that's generally what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
But
LA,
should be a fun ride regardless, because like I said, we got Brock every show.
yeah. We'll definitely see what transpires because Oba's gonna be there. You know, Oba's gonna be there, or maybe Oba's not there one day. Maybe it's just Brock comes out and does a promo thing. They never said Oba was gonna be there every week.
Right.
So Logan Paul, Austin Theory defeat the Usos via disqualification.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which I loved. I loved everything about this, not for what happened, but what it set up character-wise and what it continues to play on character-wise.
So who threw the brass knuckle? Who gave the brass knuckles to Logan before Logan loses the Nux?
Heyman.
Okay, I forgot Heyman was out there with him.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Heyman's doing double duty between Brock and Division.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, I forgot about that. So okay, so Heyman gives Logan Paul the Nux, and then LA Knight.
I think, or he may have just and got him, but regardless, he ends up with him somehow.
LA Knight ends up with the Nux, and he throws the knuckles into the ring to Jay. Jay takes the Nux, puts them on, and right in front of the ref, he freaking clocks Austin Theory and gets disqualified. That is cool, but as Skeens said, what follows this is what really makes this cool. Jimmy, all night long, has been playing this role of being, I want to say the voice of reason, but he's definitely being the voice. He's being the person who is speaking while other people are acting. And Jimmy tried to warn LA Knight, hey, if you run into my brother,
he's in a mood or whatever.
He's in a mood. Yeah. He's kind of on a warpath.
Yeah.
You know, but LA Knight does what LA Knight does. And, you know, Jimmy kind of shakes his head like, I tried to tell him. And this interaction happens at the ring. And then what happens backstage between Jimmy J and LA Knight?
LA Knight comes up to him. This is after the match, and Jay's just talking about, we got LA Knight comes up to him. He's like, essentially, he's like, you're a little hot out there, Oos. And Jay's like, I gotta protect the family. And LA Knight goes back to the man. You're starting to sound a little bit like Roman.
Oh yeah.
And then Jay has to threaten him if he keeps talking about the family.
Yeah.
So.
Now, did Jay say something along the lines of like, why does everybody keep saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I'm tired of people keep saying that. We're getting back to, it's not the exact same that we left with Jay doubting himself and doing whatever he needs to get back to the top.
Yeah.
But him not just being the yeet guy and having this switch he can flip is so much, it just has so much more depth and it's so much better. I'm not saying like it's not entertaining and it's not good to just be Jey Uso that goes out there and yeets with the crowd, which he's very good at, but
sure,
having this depth to it, it would have been a shame had we fully lost this like I worried we were going to, but we haven't. And then as we'll get to later, I think it gets even better as the show continues.
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. And you know, we're about to get to that. We got a couple of other things. Actually, we only got like really one or two things to talk about because as much as I thought that I think this match is going to be good. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. I don't think the build to this has been all that great.
I thought this was by far the best AJ Lee promo since her return.
I agree.
I think this was she found the right notes, she found the character. It wasn't so glad handing. It just felt like she got in the zone and tapped into the character and kind of it found it. It just worked for me. I thought this was her best by far.
I agree. I agree. Listen, reps. I think it's reps. I think you got to get the reps in, and then
Mhm.
you'll shake off the rust, and then you'll be a bit more fluid, a bit more lucid, a bit more connected to the promos that you're giving. Because that's been my big thing. I just felt like AJ Lee is being AJ Lee, but she didn't feel very connected to her promos, and I think
This
that
had a little more intensity, it seemed like, which was good.
I agree. I think the delivering of something that's intense does not land if you're not connected to what it is you're delivering. Like if you're just delivering a scathing hot promo because that is the way the promo was written, right? And you're not really in touch with the character that you are and who this character is supposed to be to the opponent across the ring from you, it can fall a little flat. It can fall in that space, I think, where AJ's promos have kind of been before this one. So I definitely agree with you. I think this is better. This has been the best one she has cut. I think the bar needs to be raised a little bit on
Well,
this one.
I mean, Becky just continues to be one of the best every week out there. I mean, she's the I I forget. I don't remember exactly the lead in, but her talking about, yeah, you were a star. You were a star in the Divas era, and I murdered the Divas era.
Yeah.
Like that, just whoo, that's a banger.
Didn't she bring up the butterfly belt?
Yes, she murdered the Divas era and took the wings off the belt or something like that. Pulled the wings off that butterfly belt,
Love
something like
that.
that.
Love
Yeah.
that. Listen. Becky is always a great promo. She always does her job. Sometimes I feel like she's a little cartoonish, but that's not a bad thing. Like that's not a bad thing. She plays the role that she's assigned very well, and she never really fails at that. And so I think sometimes it can seem a bit cartoonish because of how she plays her character, but it works. It works for this. I just think that between the two of them, there is another level that this needs to go to in order to really make it hot. I don't know if it can get there, but I'm excited to see it nonetheless because I genuinely like Becky Lynch. I've always loved AJ Lee. And so to see the match come to its zenith, its conclusion, is something that I want to see. It needs to happen, and I want to see it happen. So we're going to get that, obviously. And listen, I am enjoying watching Kofi Kingston
Mhm.
court Javon Evans for the New Day. I think it's interesting because obviously Javon Evans is not going to go with the New Day.
Yes.
But I love watching Kofi be able to do something interesting. You know what I mean? Because the New Day has been doing
Yeah.
some interesting things. Because I think
Is
they're
Woods
always
hurt?
just
Is
interesting.
Woods hurt
I
or
think he
something?
is.
He must be. I mean,
I think Woods is injured. I think he's injured. And so I think it's cool to see them do some fun and interesting things. And honestly, I like the fact that Grayson is
yes,
now getting a
that's what I was
little
gonna
rubbed
say.
the wrong way because he's been
Yeah,
bending over
because
backwards to be
I
with the
know
New Day. They've
that's what I was gonna
never
say. That's what
offered
I
him a spot.
that's what I smiled about when I thought about that.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, I'm not a member of the New Day. What?
Yeah, like you're offering this guy a membership in the New Day, and he doesn't even want to be here. And I
And then
want to be here. And
and then
you
they went
guys,
out in the match, and Kofi's at ringside, and he won't help Waller. I didn't want to get you disqualified. Like, yeah, yeah. I like Grayson Waller, so I'd like to see him. I just like to see him on the TV. I think he's got something.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I agree. And his theme song is hella catchy. I love it.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah,
Dude, I almost made a creator wrestler with that theme song, but I was
yeah,
like, I don't want to. So here's my thing. Listen, guys, I know we talk about WWE 2K26 a lot, but I
yeah.
think we're
We
just
have.
enjoying playing it. I have a
I'm loving
thing.
it.
I have a thing when I create wrestlers because I've created maybe 4. We only have 3 slots, right? For the My Rise. And I've only created wrestlers for My Rise. But I've deleted 1. So overall I've created 4. I don't like using entrance music that I will potentially compete
Yes,
against.
yes, right.
So
Because that'd
if
be
it
silly.
it is it'll be silly.
It
So if
would
I'm
take you
creating a
out of it.
girl, if I'm creating a girl, I won't use theme music from another female. Oh, we lost Skeena. We've lost Skeena. He's back.
Huh.
It's all good. We'll edit that
Discord
out.
today.
We'll
Discord
edit that
today.
out. But
Okay.
as I was saying, if I'm creating a female, I won't create a female with theme music that other females have. So I
Yeah.
will either be custom music or it'll be something from the guys, and vice
Oh,
versa for
okay.
the guys. I would
Yeah,
do
that makes
something that's
sense.
custom, or I would do something that is a cool theme song that a female has, so that when I'm playing, if I run into somebody in my rise or a regular match, we're not gonna have the same theme music.
Oh, that reminds no, you work. I gotta send you something from my phone that happened in 2K that was hilarious
Okay,
to me last night.
but no, yeah. Look, I think Grayson Waller's music is great. I think Grayson has the potential to do more. I'm curious to see how you get there with him. I think you just separate him from the New Day and just put him in some stuff. I think he would be in a great match against somebody like Penta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just have to put him in a situation where he's not tied to someone else. Because I feel like ever since he's been on the main roster, he's either been tied to Austin Theory, and then he went straight from being tied to Austin Theory to being tied to the New Day, and not really given the opportunity to do
It's been a
anything on
while.
his own.
Well, he was and he was killing it because remember he had that segment with he had a segment with Edge before he left where he had I mean he was doing when he his own little show. Yeah, you can go ahead and watch that. That's
Oh, keep talking. I'm listening.
so I was playing my faction, and they do those mirror matches, so that's why everyone's the same in there. But what happened was hilarious. But yeah, I love Grayson Waller. I wish we could get back to him having that kind of talk show spotlight that he did, and
Oh, yeah.
hopefully we
What, the
can get
Grayson
there
Waller
one day.
effect?
Waller effect, that's what it was.
The
Yeah,
Grayson Waller effect.
but I
Wait,
think he's
okay.
well
So,
served for
so
that.
what am I seeing? Who is duplicated in this match here?
Everyone, so
No,
that's
I
in
get
my
that part, but
faction.
okay. AJ Lee's and
So yes, so I am controlling AJ Lee at that point.
okay. So you're controlling AJ Lee, and you said this is a mirror match, right? So it's AJ Lee's, all AJ Lee's, and all who? Who's
Well,
the other?
yeah, it's my team of Stone Cold. I believe this is The Rock in there? Yeah, it's Stone Cold, The Rock, Obafemi, and AJ Lee against a team of themselves. But
Okay, okay.
it cracked me up to watch me do that taunt, and I got too close to the other Oba on on the apron.
Yeah,
And he just snatched little old AJ up and threw her over the ropes.
dude, the freaking mixed match stuff.
The fact that like yeah that can happen but like just the size disparity in the model
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
AJ was doing that walk that the hands behind the back and he just said come here just toss me over the ropes.
Yeah, there would definitely be some 2K26 being played uh during editing.
Oh yeah,
So Seth Rollins attacks Paul Heyman after Paul lays a trap because he fights the way Heyman's fight, which is
which is a hilarious line. He called Seth out, said let's handle this like men, and
yes,
then Seth comes out and there are cops there and Heyman's like men in my family we call the police we
we
file
fight with
restraining
litigation.
orders. Yeah, I love that so much.
And then Paul proceeds to tell Seth as he is being carted away by the fine police officers of whatever town they're in. I forget which one they're in. And
Doesn't
he
matter because those were not police officers of that town. But
he says something along the lines of when Becky is being left on her own and
yeah,
being run through by all the men in the locker room, and
I'll be the one to raise your daughter.
I'll be the one to
Right.
raise your daughter. And then Seth breaks away while still in handcuffs, runs back to the ring. And he's not handcuffed yet. He's just being escorted away from the ring.
Well, there's a big jurisdictional issue here, anyways, because he assaulted Paul in another town, and these officers are going to arrest him for a crime
Yeah, that's
from
not
another
really how that
jurisdiction.
works. That's not
Yeah.
really how that works. But suffice it to say, when Seth is being ushered away from the ring prior to his assaulting of Paul on Raw, he is not handcuffed yet. I think he's just being he's being ushered away from the scene. And then he breaks away from the cops when he makes the comment about his daughter. And then he goes
Yes.
and he assaults Paul. And then they handcuff him and take him out of the ring. And so I don't know. I guess Seth's going to be in lockup until they get to Madison Square Garden, to which he's
Maybe
probably going to break out of jail and
he's gonna what out of jail?
break out of jail,
Break?
break,
Break? Yeah,
break.
there's breaking.
He's going to
Is next
break
week
out
the
of
week?
jail.
Is next week the week? Maybe. Madison Square Garden.
I mean, look, that would be a hot crowd
I would
to
not be shocked if Braun Breaker comes back next week.
listen. I wouldn't be shocked either. That's if we believe he's not injured,
I believe he was injured, and I believe he has
has
recovered
recovered.
and will be back.
I mean, listen, that would be the thing to do. I mean, if you're going to try to have something for Seth to do, you know what I mean?
I'm still manifesting it, hoping for it, but I really think that's my prediction. Is that Braun Breaker's coming back next week.
I mean, we can only hope. We can only hope because we don't have any type of, I don't have any type of indicator that Breaker is ready to go. But yeah, that would be the best case scenario because obviously we're not doing a triple threat of any kind that would involve Seth freaking Rollins. And so he's going to need something to do.
Is the
And
backup plan Seth Rollins versus Paul Heyman in some capacity? Because I could see it.
I could see that too. I
I
thought
don't
it a
know.
little
I
bit.
don't know how you make that work as a match because I mean, obviously you did stuff like with Vince, but I think Vince could
Hold his own a bit.
a little more than Heyman. Yes.
I mean, you'd have to set up a situation where Paul does something either very heinous that would then
What do you mean?
have
Like tell him his wife's gonna get ran through and he's gonna
I
raise his
think
daughter?
so that I get that part, but that wouldn't be heinous to the point where why do I always forget this dude's name? The GM of Raw,
Adam Pierce.
Adam Pierce, thank you. I don't know why I run into Adam Pierce all the time in my rise, but he hasn't done anything that's so heinous that Adam Pierce would put Paul in a situation that Paul would have to be in a match. I don't think that Paul would just
Okay.
willingly agree to be in a match. And I don't think that Adam Pierce
Fair.
would put Paul in a match just because Seth got really mad because he said something about his kid. So I think Paul would have to do something so heinous, right, that it would be an affront to Pierce. And then Pierce would be like, oh, so you think you're going to get away with doing this on my show, you know what I'm saying, before WrestleMania? Well, I got news for you. You are going to compete at WrestleMania, and you're going to compete against Seth Rollins in WrestleMania. And you're going to compete against Seth Rollins in WrestleMania in a steel cage so that none of your people can get their hands into this match. And then it'll just be one of those spectacle matches, right? And that would be a really good thing to do if Seth is indeed only partially cleared. Like, let's say his injury is one where he's still recovering. He can do a little something, but not a lot, right? This will be a great thing because Paul's not going to wrestle back. It
Yeah.
will just
I'm
be
just
one of
thinking
those.
for what Seth does if without Braun Breaker there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if
Yeah.
Braun Breaker's not there, you could do a match like this against Paul Heyman. It'd just be a nice little spectacle match for the fans, right? But I mean, if Breaker's healed and cleared, and Seth is cleared, well, then yeah, you could definitely go into that match. It just feel that I love to see that match, and I get that you're booking around unfortunate injuries, right? It would just kind of feel like you're booking around unfortunate injuries, right? Because
Well,
Paul Heyman is bouncing all around the freaking chessboard, right?
I think him mentioning this week was kind of a little tease when he says Bronson Reed's not going to be back for a long time and Braun Breaker's not going to be back for a long time. I
So,
think that's
so
my
they're
take.
both going to come back at the
No,
same
I
time.
think Bronson Reed's not. I think Braun Breaker's coming back next week though. Prediction? Yes. Spoiler? Maybe. If it's right, you can call it a spoiler.
Yeah. So I guess what you're saying is Bronson Reed is injured for real and Breaker is healed.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think we talked about it when it happened. Like the hernia thing. This is on the obviously it's a surgery, but it's not like a year long recovery. This is something people go through and come back, and this is on obviously on like the low end of the recovery time, but I think for an elite athlete like that, I think he's back. I think he's making it back. I just do. I've
I
said that from the beginning, and I'm sticking to it.
listen, if he is recovered, good on him, right? My thing is this. I think a hernia sounds like it's on the lower end of things because regular people get hernias all the time, right? But it's the type of hernia. You got a herniated disc in your lower back, right?
He didn't have a disc though, did he? I thought it was just a like a regular kind of like sports hernia.
I mean, but a sports hernia happens somewhere, Skeeter. It happens somewhere on the body. It doesn't just happen in the body somewhere. It has a location. I thought he had a herniated disc. That's what I thought.
No, this was a like sports hernia, like a his intestines are popping out of the sack because he strained too much.
That's a
This
sports
was this
hernia?
wasn't a disc. Yeah.
So every time
When
someone has a sports hernia, it's involving intestines popping through abdomen opening, abdomen connect.
so for men, usually a sports hernia happens in the groin region where whatever is inside that's what the herniate in itself means, that something is popping out in a place that it's not there. It is protruding through an opening it's not going to be there. Normally
Right.
for men it's like intestine pops out in the groin region, pops through the muscle walls and things. Herniated disc is a different thing. That's when a disc protrudes where it's not supposed to. He just had a hernia, which meant
Right.
some of his insides were getting outside in a way they were not supposed to.
So according to Google, I typed in what is a sports hernia, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it just says that a sports hernia is a soft tissue injury, not a true hernia,
Oh, okay.
involving tears,
Okay.
strains.
Well, he had an actual hernia.
Yeah, it's involving tears or strains of muscles, tendons, ligaments, tendons or ligaments in the lower abdominal or groin area,
Yes.
common in sports like soccer and hockey, right?
Yeah, so Breaker, if I remember, he had a hernia for a while, which means occasionally, wherever it was, probably lower abdominal or groin, like is common in men, something on the inside was popping through a hole and going a little too outside.
Right.
And then when he flipped the announce table, however he strained, probably caused the opening to be bigger or something, and then he
Sure.
had to have it addressed.
Right.
So essentially, they fix the hole, and then you don't stress it for a while, and then you come back.
Right. So I guess my only concern would be, right, how long do you give the body to heal in a way that would not
I'm not his doctor. However long the
how
doctor
long
says.
would it take for the body to heal in a way that would not put the body in a situation where doing heavy lifting, right? That would one
This is
be a
doctor
part of
stuff. I
training
don't
and
know.
rehab, and two, lifting and throwing around other human beings in a way that would not re-aggravate a hernia. I'm not asking you, I'm posing the question, right? I'm not saying that he's not cleared. I'm not saying I have any medical knowledge about anything, but I'm saying that for as likely of a likely for the likelihood that he could be back, I think there's just as much likelihood that he could not be back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like this injury happened apparently right after the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
The Royal Rumble was when in January,
yeah. Well, very end of January.
very end of January, start of February, right?
Yeah.
So we are currently in March, and mid-April will be WrestleMania. I wish I had at least a general idea of how long it takes someone to fully recover from a hernia, because we're talking about February,
Four to
March.
typically, if it's within the bounds, and everyone's different of what normal humans go through,
Right.
you're usually cleared to come back by like 4 to 6 weeks. You can start doing light stuff like within a couple weeks too. You just can't. They tell you obviously don't strain in a way that could tear through what we sewed up, but
Right.
it's 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, I mean, you
He
would
is
have had about 12 weeks, roughly about 12 weeks from the point of the injury to when
8 weeks.
WrestleMania.
8 weeks. Because let's say he got injured 1st of February. So we have February and March.
Right, but I'm saying that the Mania is middle of
Oh,
April.
Mania would be, yeah.
So it's about
Yes. Oh, yeah.
roughly around 12 weeks.
Yes, which is why I'm saying
But
this.
that's what I'm saying. So if you're saying that's the case, right? Well, then yes, I think that would probably be plenty of time for him to have healed from this, with a little extra time built in for him to do whatever type of rehabbing and conditioning that he would need to be ring ready by WrestleMania. So yeah, maybe it's possible that we could get him back. And I guess Seth is cleared.
Yeah. He's done too much to not be cleared.
I wish we would just get the word. Like, I wish you would just give us the word that Seth has been cleared for competition. That would just make this whole thing a lot easier to
Well, I don't think the Seth
speculate
piece,
on.
I think the Seth piece doesn't need to be worried about. He's doing something. It's just what he's doing at WrestleMania.
Well, that's my thing. If we knew that Seth was cleared, it'd be much clearer to know what he's doing at WrestleMania.
I'm telling you, Seth is cleared. You do
Okay.
not have to worry about that.
Okay. Well, then we just got to see who shows up for him to compete
Correct.
against. Could be Braun Breaker. It could be Bronson Reed. Who knows? I think
It's not gonna be Bronson.
it'd be a less big match.
Doesn't he? Didn't he have like? Was his a bicep tear?
Something like that?
Yeah, that's a long time.
I mean, if
That's
it's
not a 4 to 6 week one.
if it's legit,
It is, I think.
well, listen, we got elite athletes here, so it's very
We
possible.
do. I think Cena was a bicep tear and was back in like 2 months, right? Is that what he did for 2008 Royal Rumble?
I think he did have a bicep tear.
I'm gonna look that up.
I think he did have a bicep tear or something like that.
I know that's normally because I remember when Bronson Reed did it, it's like 4 to 6 months. Oh no, it was a pec.
Yes, because his pec looked
Tore his
different when
pec.
he first came back. Yes, and he came back that quick.
Yeah. Yes, it was a pec tear, which is normally 6 months to a year, and he came back in 2 months because he's just a freak.
So listen, you got elite athletes, so who's to say that these
I'm not
guys
putting
got these
anyone on
injuries
those
and
John
just
Cena timelines.
say what now?
I said I'm not putting anyone on the John Cena timeline.
Listen, if you believe that that Braun Breaker is the genetic freak that he is, then maybe maybe you do put him on that
If
timeline.
he's doing the things that I've seen on the Scott Steiner workout DVD, then
He's a genetic
he's
freak.
he's totally back. Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
If not, anyone that hasn't seen that and knows and loves Scott Steiner, I need you to YouTube just Scott Steiner workout DVD because it's exactly what you think it is, and it's amazing.
So all I'm gonna say about Stephanie Vacquet and Liv Morgan is that this little scrap that they had looked like it had some painful moments.
Yeah, I think
It seemed like these girls were like, "Hey, let's throw some things in here that are probably gonna hurt but look really good on camera," right? Liv chucking Stephanie head first into the stage Tron. Yikes. And then when they're back in Gorilla and Stephanie like pretty much like sidewalk slams Liv onto the floor. I was watching this with bated breath because this is the most I've been excited for this feud,
that's what I was gonna say.
is seeing the lengths at which they will go to sell this feud.
Yeah, this is the one that I think we talked about it last week is just kind of fallen flatter recently.
Yeah, yeah. But this was good. I thought this was good. I thought that the look, putting your body on the line in that way in order to go headfirst into the stage Tron and that sidewalk slam that Liv took on the floor in Gorilla looked rough. But I think it sold the heat that we're supposed to believe is between these two. And that's all you need for me. You sell it once and then maintain that sell through to Mania, and I will be interested to see what happens. But this is preceding Dominic calling out Finn. Finn comes to the ring, and no, wait, no, I'm sorry, that's
No,
wrong.
you're a week behind or 2 weeks behind. No,
No, I'm sorry, I
we
was
had
thinking.
we had Penta and Dom
That's
for
what I
the
was.
IC
Yes,
title,
Penta and Dom
which
for the IC title.
which Finn came out and interrupted.
Yes, Penta wins, and then
Well, he did.
Dom,
He didn't necessarily interrupt it, but he did the old stand on the stage. JD tried to come attack him. He sent JD packing,
which
and
took
then
Dom's
Penta
attention.
and Penta got the roll up. Yes.
And then we get Finn Balor beating down Dom,
Hmm.
which is obviously setting up their WrestleMania match.
I would think so. Yes.
Non-title, because I'm sure he's not going to challenge for the AAA Mega Championship.
Who knows? Who
I'm
knows?
well,
I mean, that would be an interesting twist in the Finn revival arc.
it would, but
And
El
especially, you know what? I
Grande
didn't. I didn't even think about that until you said it, and you're more tuned into AAA, so I'll defer to you. But I think that would be a boost to AAA
to have
to
Finn on
have
the
that,
programming. I think it would.
and to defend that, to have that change at WrestleMania, and then they get a big star like Finn to come down there.
Okay, so two things. One,
Yes.
the next person in line to compete against Dom is El Grande Americano because he won the
Okay.
Rey de Reyes. Two, they will never allow the AAA Mega Championship to change hands on a program that's not AAA.
What, you don't think Undertaker's going to do that?
Fuck no. That is AAA's top championship. That would be like WWE allowing the World Heavyweight Championship to change hands on a AAA show, or the WWE Championship to change hands on a TNA show. That would never happen. Maybe a lower title, but I don't think the AAA Mega
I
Championship.
don't know, brother.
I
Ask
don't think that would
ask
happen.
Taker.
I
Who
don't
knows
think
what
I
Taker's
don't
got
think
cooking?
Taker would. I don't think Taker. Look, if Taker did that, I'm gonna be real with you. Along with a lot of the Mexican fans, I would probably say "fuck you, Taker." I would probably say "fuck you, Taker." Like, don't bastardize another company's legacy by treating them like they're NXT. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't NXT. This is a whole nother promotion and a whole different style of professional wrestling. Just because WWE have some ownership stakes in AAA doesn't make AAA not its own thing. That I think is so vastly different from how WWE has ownership over TNA. I think it's a whole different thing. And even then, we have never seen a TNA championship change hands on WWE programming. We haven't seen that. And I think that's a respect thing. I can appreciate that, but no, I think El Grande is next in line to challenge Dom. But I agree with you in the idea that if this feud between Finn and Dom were to carry over into AAA, oh, absolutely. What better place to bring back the Demon?
Yeah.
The Demon would work so freaking well in AAA, brother. There are just so many characters in AAA that the Demon would work in a way that Vince never allowed the Demon to work in WWE. Just hands down. Hands friggin' down. He could pull that off for sure. Is there anything else we need to cover in Raw? I feel like there was a segment at the end
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
some guy named Punk and another
Mhm.
dude.
Yeah.
What's his name? Roman Reigns or
Yeah.
something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Some little segment. Do you remember that, Skeeter?
I do. I remember it well. But
Oh
I'm
yeah.
interested to see what you think because you have been less completely satisfied with the build than I have.
Well, give it to us, man. What happened?
So this time we get Punk hitting the ring first to close the show. He had been warned by Jimmy earlier that Jay is on a warpath. So try not to provoke him. And Punk immediately, as I believe continues to be the story of this feud so far, which is Punk's mouth is making this harder for him than he needed it to be. But he comes out there and says, you know what? Roman gave the entire Samoan family license to come kick my ass last week, and not a single one has even looked at me. since then. So immediately CM Punk pokes the bear of the entire Samoan dynasty. Then he addresses the end of last week, which hit for me, didn't hit for you, but that Roman called him old. And Punk says he's not ashamed of his age, he's proud of his age, and that it actually kind of he treats it as a testament like, look, I'm the old guy that can still go. I think there's still room to explore there on why that pushed Punk's button so much, but then he can't help himself and turns his attention back to Jay and says, essentially, I'm not afraid of Jay. What's he going to do? Yeet me to death? And
Here comes Jay.
That brings out Jay. A very fired up Jay, which I love. And they get a face to face and a stare down. Jay's doing the pacing and stuff, which I just love, is
Me
when
too.
he taps into this intensity, and he tells Punk he's gonna run it back on his old ass, I believe. He said. Then Jimmy comes out and is like, "Hey, brother, we got to lock in like tag titles next week on the Vision. We can't be, you got us disqualified tonight. You got us in this match. Don't get drawn into this Punk stuff."
Yes.
Essentially.
I believe he says, let Roman handle Punk.
Mhm.
And does Jay say something along the lines of like, I don't give a damn what Roman's going to handle?
Something, and he said like he ain't even here, but I am.
Oh, right.
And then
Right.
that,
Right.
and then the music hits, and the ones go up. And our tribal chief, our OTC1, he makes his way to the ring. And the first thing he does is, as respectfully as he can, he notes, tells the Usos to get out of the ring because seemingly Punk is his business.
Because grown folks
And
are talking.
and this just it plays on everything. I think that now it lends credence to what Punk said a couple weeks ago. Like, he's still ordering you all around, and you all don't understand that he's taking advantage of you. And then Roman does it. So now Punk has a point, which I love. But then Roman tells the Usos to get out of the ring. Punk says, "Hey, maybe you all should stay because I think Roman's going to need your help." And that sets off Roman. Roman hits Punk with the Superman
Oh, wait,
punch.
ho. You skipped something.
Yeah, what did I skip? What did I forget here?
So Punk says what he says. Jay loses it again outside the ring. And then he
Okay,
starts yelling at Roman. He calls
I
him
thought that was
Joe.
I
And
thought that was after, or maybe it was then. But yeah, that is a huge point. So you go ahead.
he
That I
so
love.
he yells at Roman. And he's like, Joe, you better get him.
Get
You
his
better
ass,
get
Joe.
him.
Yep.
You better get him. And then Roman attacks Punk, right?
Yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah. He
That
and I love that part too where like, some people may not like it, but I think when it's used sparingly, like the real name thing, it brings into like, okay, Jay's pissed because like Punk's been talking about the family and now he's personally insulting him. So now it's hey, cousin Joe, you better get his ass.
right.
Which I
You better defend me. He's been talking about the family. I've been the one who's been showing up out here
as
confronting
as
him.
as Jimmy's holding him back. He's like, you know what? If Jimmy's gonna hold me back, you better get him. If I can't go get him, you better get him.
And
And
so
he got him.
Roman got him. Roman got him. And I'm not going to gloss over the fact that once put through the announce table, Punk is laughing because I guess he's proven himself right that he is in
Mhm.
Roman's head.
He got it back from last week. Yep, which is great. But yeah, and then so after the initial, then Jay's even more. He's like, you got to smash him, and yeah, Roman gives him the spear, and then we go old school. He goes the unassisted power bomb through the announce table, and like you said, Punk's laughing, and the cameras catch him, and I think he's saying, "I'm not the one who needs help." I think he said,
Yes, because the guys were trying to help him.
"Yeah."
And he was
So
like, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of 2 weeks in a row they both think they get the upper hand. Last week we're leaving with Roman talking straight to the camera and saying, "Oh, this is the guy that gets in everyone's head. I'm in his head." And now this week, even physically beaten, Punk believes he has the upper hand now. But to me, as great as the segment was in itself, we're still setting up that what I think has been the theme, like I alluded to, has Punk being Punk and constantly needing to needle and poke the bear. Has he made this harder for himself because his inability to not go there and needle has made Jay an enemy, not a disputed friend in this. He has firmly aligned Jay with Roman in this feud. And I think that continues to be the big through line for me at least.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you what I thought I found the most interesting here. What I found the most interesting here was Jay.
Mm-hmm.
So Jay tells Roman, Joe, you better get him.
Mm-hmm.
Roman then attacks Punk. Now, this is coming off the heels of Roman stating to Punk that he was not in his head at all. Essentially, Roman is as cool as the other side of the pillow. He is cool as a cucumber. That all these things that you're saying to me don't faze me at all because I'm the tribal chief. I'm the head of the table. I'm that guy. And these things don't faze me. I'm not fazed about you talking about my dead dad. I'm not fazed about you talking about our family. I'm not fazed about any of these things. I'm fighting you because I hate you, right? So Jay saying what he said to Roman, right? And I'm glossing over this idea that I heard somebody say online about, oh, so what we're saying is Jay is running the show. Jay is the tribal chief because he told Roman to do this and Roman did it. Cool idea, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is this idea not simply about Punk making this harder for himself by realigning Jay and Jimmy with Roman. I think the idea is that he didn't. I think the idea that Roman attacked Punk is going to draw out this sentiment that it seems like they're in alignment, but Roman, just like he did right before this segment started, where he tells Jimmy and Jay, y'all had tag matches, right? Those matches are done. Okay, I'm going to say this as kindly as I can. Get out of my ring. I think Roman is going to come back next week and he's going to tell Punk that, no, you didn't faze me at all. I attacked you because you needed to be attacked. I don't give a damn what you got to say about anything. I don't give a damn what you got to say about the Usos. I don't give a damn what you got to say about the family. I think that is going to draw a wedge between Jay and Roman. Because I think that what Jay said to Jimmy before Roman came out is very important. That I'm out here defending the family. I'm out here defending the family like we were out here last week. Where's Roman at? Roman ain't out here. I'm out here. Roman didn't come out until Roman wanted to come out. And the first thing that he did was disrespect and send his family out the ring as kindly as he could do it, right? And like you said, it lends credence to what Punk was saying. That it's like, he just uses y'all. He just uses his family however he sees fit. I never got any disrespect from any of the Samoan family. It's only been this one self-righteous prick that never shows me any kind of respect. And he doesn't respect you all. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing that Roman has never respected you all the way you all think he does, right? And I think what you do is you get Punk opening up the segment between him and Roman next week, and Punk talking all of this stuff that's going to get Roman to come out there. And he's going to be talking about how he's under Roman's skin, that, you know, this is where Roman's Achilles heel is, right? I respect his family, but I'm going to do what I got to do to get under the skin. He's already said it before, like, this is why the fans respect me, because I do what I need to do to get where I need to go, right? And so I respect the family, but I'm going to needle it if it gets under his skin. You know what I'm saying? Because Roman is no different than anyone else. You find his weakness, you exploit it, right? And Roman's not as untouchable as he thinks he is. Boom, doom, doom, doom. Roman comes out, right? And Roman comes out and he starts, you know, doing the Roman thing. You think you got under my skin? You didn't get under my skin. This doesn't faze me. I don't care about what Jay's doing. I don't care about what Jimmy's doing. You can insult my father. That doesn't bother me, right? I hate you, blah, 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 right? I think that then brings on some further instance where Jay's got a problem with that, because Jay is like, so you're not out here to defend the family. We out here every week trying to defend your ass and your name and our family's name. And the first thing you do is disrespect us. You tell us to just get out of the ring. We the one out here defending the family. You gonna come in the ring and tell us to just get out. I think it's not as clear where Jimmy and Jay are gonna fall, because I think that I agree with you in the sense that on one hand, you could look at it like Punk doing what Punk does, which is get in his own way, right? And he's got to run his mouth and he's got to do these things, right? And he could be potentially making this harder than it has to be. Because I think that lends to the idea that some people are saying about like, oh, they're gonna bring the bloodline back. I think that's the extreme of what it is that you're saying, right? Which is, oh, they're gonna drive them back together and then they're gonna become the bloodline again. No, I don't know if they're gonna be the bloodline again, but I get the idea that you could be driving Jimmy and Jay back to Roman, right? But Jay is always alluding to the fact that he ain't Roman. And the fact that, like, I don't know why you all keep comparing me to Roman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you act a little bit like Roman. Why do people keep saying that? I'm not like Roman. And then he comes out here to defend the family and he's constantly saying, look, Roman ain't here. I'm here. I'm defending the family. I need you to apologize, Punk, for insulting the family. And what did Roman say to the Usos? I didn't need no apology, but I'm gonna go get that apology because you guys need it. You're drawing a very distinct line between Roman Reigns and the family, right? And that lends to the idea that Roman is just using the family. He's just using the family in whatever way he sees fit to propagate whatever it is that he is trying to accomplish. Whether he's trying to accomplish a championship, whether he's trying to run the company, whether he's trying to run the family. He cares about the family when it suits him, right? But at any other time, Roman don't give a damn about you all. He don't give a damn about his legacy outside of what he's doing. He doesn't care about you guys, the Usos. He never really has, right? And that was Roman and Jay's beef earlier on, way back in the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? That they've always had to play second fiddle to Roman. Those were Jay's exact words, as a matter of fact. That like playing second fiddle to Roman when they were growing up, Roman always used them to get ahead. And it was always Roman first, and then which one are you? And so I think this has been the best segment for me since the opening segment of this feud. Because I think that there is a real potential here for layers to be unearthed in this feud. And that's what I've always been about, is the storytelling, right? You make the story make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? And I think it works. I thought that the thing about Punk being old last week was a little flimsy. And I think they followed up on it this week, but I still think that was trying to put a Band-Aid over a wound that is too big for the bandage. I think you're doing your best, and I think it works for the story, but I still think that it was just kind of out of left field. But they're working with it. But I think that this stuff, when digging into the backstory that we laid with the bloodline, is far more interesting. I think it's far more interesting to have Punk be the mastermind that is separating this chasm that Roman doesn't even see, because Roman's too arrogant to see it. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you're on board finally.
Hey, listen, all they had to do was tell a good story. Like, all you had to do was tell a good story. You're going to get me every time. And like I said, you had me hooked in the beginning, right? You had me hooked in the beginning.
We got 4 more Raws. I believe this Monday is the last one without Roman. Or no, Roman will be there, and then it's the next week.
I'm about to say, Roman's not missing MSG.
Yeah, it's April 6th, I believe. He is not going to be there. So
I think that episode, I think the episode that Roman's not there is going to be the most development that we get with the Usos in this whole thing.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because I think that's where Jimmy and Jay are going to be able to operate without Roman supervision. And we get to see how Jay really feels about this whole thing. And
yes, Roman will be there this week.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Like I said, you know, Roman Reigns is not going to miss Madison Square Garden, right? That's a fat check. So he'll be there. You know, but he's not going to be there to defend his family. He's going to be there because the check is fat. Yeah, like he's going to be there because the check is fat. Listen, if I was Punk, that's what I would lean into. Of course he's going to be here for the Madison Square Garden show, you know, but this dude has a scheduled day off on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He has a scheduled day off.
He's trying to be a full-time dad.
No, how he can't be a
That's what
full-time
he
dad when
said.
he's working. Like, you can't be a full-time dad when you're working, sir. You can't even claim that. Full-time dad means go away. You're not here, right? Which would then lend credence to the idea that you're not here. Can't have it both ways, Roman. But I think that's the crux of Punk's criticism of Roman, tying this back into the story, right? I think that's the crux of it. Because when it comes down to the thing that that Roman called out and said, you think I haven't heard this before? Everybody says stuff. Oh, you part-time. Oh, you don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't show up. Oh, these insults about my family. These things don't faze me, right? I think that's the whole point. I think that's the whole point behind Punk's angle is that, no, it doesn't faze you. It doesn't faze you that people are disrespecting your family. It doesn't even faze you that they're disrespecting your dead dad. It doesn't faze you that you're not being the guy who was that 1,000+ day champion. You're choosing to do what you want to do over anything else. Meanwhile, your cousins are here defending the family, right? And even defending your name. I insult you, and you got to send your young boys out here to defend you instead of stepping up and being here yourself. And then Jay reinforces it when he comes out to this week and he's like, Roman ain't even out here, but I am. Roman comes out on his own terms, and the first thing he does when he gets in the ring is not even address Punk. Addresses the Usos, kind of dresses them down and tells them to get out of the ring. Listen, this is intriguing to me. This is intriguing to me because the story is a bit nuanced.
I'm happy you're here enjoying it finally. That's what I need.
Hey, listen, I am happy that I'm happy that I am making you happy, sir. I'm
just happy that you're happy. So there we go.
Hey, and listen, this is what friends do. This is what friends do. I'm glad I have you as a friend. And listen,
they certainly don't beat the Wyatt family or the Wyatt Six on the video game together.
At least not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth time. But, 7 times is the charm.
I think it did take 7 or 8.
7 times is the charm, brother. Once they've worn them down. Listen, I think in-game lore-wise, I think they had an injury after all those matches. I think that's how we got over them.
Probably.
I think they need to be fresh, and we need to challenge them again.
The game has to show it to me because every time I go to pick a tag team match, sometimes if you just do an exhibition match, it'll show you your highest rated.
Yeah.
And our 5-star classic that we lost to the Wyatts just is up there all the time.
Yikes. Listen, sponsored, not sponsored. But listen, WWE 2K26, if you would like to sponsor the Lariat Lounge, I am so down for that. I'm so down for that. I would gladly take you on as our very first sponsor. But we're going to talk about the game regardless because we're having fun playing it. Skeener, I think that about wraps it up for this week of the Lariat Lounge. So what is your big takeaway from this week in wrestling from last Friday through Monday into today?
I can't do a takeaway from this week. I'm just gonna reiterate that you all be ready for those sirens to hit on Monday. Braun Breaker is coming back in Madison Square Garden. I'm calling it.
That's fair.
That's
fair. I think my takeaway from this week is going to be a classic one. Stories matter, characters matter. I think when you make the characters matter and you make the stories matter, however it is that you invest in that, whether it is Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer really laying in some solid, stiff stunt work to kind of get their feud over that makes you believe in it, or you start diving deeper into the story of a feud by adding layers upon layers and things that are obvious and things that are not so obvious, that rewards viewers for their longevity, that rewards viewers for paying attention, that rewards viewers for being invested in the product, right? When you do character development that shows multiple sides of Randy Orton and you allow characters to do really great character work, you can bring back stories that may be lacking in some areas. You can hook some people who you may have lost or have gone astray. And it's the reason why I love professional wrestling. There's no other form of storytelling quite like it. And when you get it right, it just hits different. So buckle up. as Skeens says, we are fast approaching WrestleMania. It's only going to ramp up from here. So I genuinely hope everyone is ready. We will all enjoy it together. Skeener, please let everyone know one more time for this episode where they can do all the things that is the Lariat Lounge.
The Lariat Lounge is coming at you once a week, every week. You can find us on YouTube. Just search the Lariat Lounge. You'll find us. You'll find the video for the podcast. You'll find the audio version, all our old episodes, all that WWE 2K26 content that's going to be coming your way. That's where you'll find our PLE live streams. If you like listening to the podcast just as audio, we're still there on all your favorite platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can find us wherever you find your shows. We are over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. That's where you can interact with us, give us comments, DMs, vote in polls. That's where you'll find links every time we go live, be it streaming 2K or our PLE live streams. And as always, please feel free to join our friend Gage Johnson in the email inbox. Whatever you want to talk about, tell us, yell at us about anything, please send it over there at the Lariat Lounge at gmail.com.
Please help Gage out. Join him in the inbox. He is lonely in there. He needs friends. He needs a support system. You can be that. You can also be our support system by going over to prowrestlingtees.com/the Lariat Lounge. Cop yourself some merch. Apparently it shows up pretty quickly and the quality is top notch. You can ask Mama Skeens. She can verify. So please grab yourself some merch. All proceeds from the merch goes directly back into the podcast. You all help this podcast run. You keep the lights on over here. So we really do appreciate you guys from the bottom of our hearts. From your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens, this has been another edition of the Lariat Lounge, and we are on the road to WrestleMania, folks. Please watch yourself on the way out.